Here, Liv. Server room, identify perimeter breach. Over.
Where you go? Where you go?
Withdraw your men.
Say again, Grim.
I'm going in. My turn.
What's going on?
What the? Impossible.
Didn't think you spooked this easy.
Micro recon drones. Cute.
You forgot this. The data key on your jugular.
You were saying?
What was on that server?
QCR shipment records. Question is, who wants eyes on it? And why?
Welcome, operators. The time has come. Ubisoft has teamed up with the Esports Club to create a comprehensive esports ecosystem in South Asia for Tom-Clancys' Rainbow-Six-Siege. Over the course of the year, players from all over the region will have the opportunity to partake in events as they work to earn a spot in the brand new South Asian Nationals. The South Asian competitive ecosystem will consist of two stages, the TEC Pro Series and the main event that is the South Asia Nationals. Players and teams from across South Asia will join in a new set of events called the Esports Club Pro Series for Rainbow-Six-Siege. These events will have 3 editions: spring, summer, and fall. Each carries its own prize pool of $2,000, but more importantly, grants the top 8 teams coveted SA Nationals qualifier points. After the conclusion of the TEC Pro Series Fall Edition, the 8 teams with the highest number of SA Nationals qualifier points collected throughout the year will move on to play the first ever edition of the new South Asia Nationals for Rainbow-Six-Siege. The South Asia Nationals represents the highest tier of competition in the region and carries a prize pool of $10,000 split among the top teams. The event will be divided into 2 phases. First, all 8 teams will compete against each other in the league stage in a round-robin system with best of 3 matches and no possibility of a draw. The winning team receives 2 points and the losing team will receive 1 consolation point if they manage to win a map. At the end of the league stage, the top 4 teams will move on to the playoffs, where they will face off in a best-of-3 double elimination bracket. The grand finals will be a best-of-5 contest to determine the 2022 champion of the South Asia Nationals. We hope you're as excited as we are to get this started. To be sure you don't miss any important updates about Rainbow-Six Esports in South Asia, follow the Esports Club on Instagram and Twitter, as well as the official Twitter handle R6 Esports SA.
Welcome everyone to the South Asian Nationals for Rainbow-Six-Siege here at the Esports Club. These nationals are supported by Ubisoft, powered by Zotac, and of course we've got our broadcast partner Loco. I am CCV, joined alongside Baba, and we are bringing to you day number 12 of the group stages. We have the 8 best teams of South Asia up against each other every single day, back-to-back best-of-3s, back-to-back matches, all for one thing and a little bit more. Of course, we've got prize pool on offer as well, alongside Major Glory. But Baba, take us through the prize pool that is on offer.
Yep. Talk about the prize pool itself. It's a total of 11,000 US dollars, each split randomly across first, second, and third place. 5,000 US dollars for first, 3,000 US dollars for second, and of course 1,000 US dollars for third place. The MVP of this series will also receive 500 US dollars if they will, it always depends on the performance on the team itself. So they'll just get themselves a bonus of 500 US dollars. But the rest of this positions, as you see, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th will receive 700, 250, 150 US dollars respectively. So talk about the total of 8 teams that has been qualified for the South Asian Nationals. I've got to say, there's been a lot of ups and downs here, CCV. Talk about the first half stages. We did get to see Won't Stop peaking, almost securing a spot in towards the playoffs itself. And also we'll take a look at our top 8 teams in the SA Nationals itself. We have teams like Won't Stop Peaking, Shaheens, MercenarieZ, Hunters LFO, UWU, KIRA Esports, Militant Esports, and of course, last but not least, Team Phalanx. Talk about the first half itself. We did get to see Team Won't Stop Peaking and Phalanx making a lot of presence known in towards the playoff side itself.
Right.
Now we are here with day 12 of the group stages, and you could say that when it comes to group stages, there's been a lot of changes around here, CCV.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs. Yesterday's matches as well, being quite interesting. First match we had yesterday, Militant up against Team UWU. Unfortunately for Militant, they had to play 4 versus 5. So they weren't really on their best performance because they were lacking that 5th player. And it led to Team UWU securing a relatively easy 2-0 win on the maps of Theme Park and Clubhouse. There was a lot going on in that match. But the second match of the day was Shaheens and MercenarieZ. Now again, for both of the teams, the players were having a lot of troubles with some of their issues with internet and electricity, which is why the matchup was took place later in the night of stream. But Shaheens did manage to defeat MercenarieZ 2-0. However, with all that foundation being laid, we start off with today's matches. Our first matchup, quite interesting. Yet again, we have Team Full Sleeves, KIRA Esports against Team T-Shirts, Team UWU. And yeah, both of these guys, they've had very similar-esque journeys, but in a way different. Why? Because in the South Asian Nationals, they both didn't have the best of starts. There was a time where KIRA Esports, they were really struggling. However, they've made the resurgence, they've come back into it, and now they are looking for that qualification spot. Team UWU, on the other hand, yeah, they didn't have the best of starts as well. But again, similar to KIRA, very, very recently, they have been performing really good. For the past 2 days, they've managed to defeat Militant and now Team Phalanx. Keeping that in mind, I gotta say, yes, Team UWU will not be able to qualify. Sadly, they've lost a little too many of their matches. But still, it's going to be an amazing fight today. And then, of course, we have matchup number 2.
Yep, matchup number 2, the most important one for these two teams to secure first place. Hunters LFO versus Shaheens. Shaheens are currently undefeated in the South Asian Nationals. They have secured 5 match wins, which means that they still have 2 more. And if they want to, have that undefeated streak, they've got to make sure that they defeat Hunters LFO as well. Currently, Hunters LFO are also undefeated too. They've secured 4 match wins. All they've got to do is just make sure to do the same as well when they go up against Shaheens. So this match will determine who will stay on the first position itself. Shaheens have made an amazing performance here in the South Asian National itself, as they've secured 10 points in the group stages. And I really can't wait to see what's going to happen around here on match number 2. But focusing on match number 1, and also we'll take a look at the group standings itself to see the proper standings on. We'll get to see the proper points and also the standings itself. Mercy is on second place, claiming a total of 9 points. Hunters with 8, Kira with 8 place. Kira with a total of 8 points. One stop peaking, Team UWU securing 6 and 4 points. Phalanx and Militant Esports currently at the bottom of the leaderboards, having 4 and 2 points respectively. Militant Esports are currently the one who haven't won a single match, and unfortunately, they only have 1 matches left for all the 4 teams that we see right here. One stop peaking, UWU, Phalanx, and Militant Esports. So one stop picking, maximum they can attain a total of 8 points at the end of the group stage itself. But the chances for one stop peaking to secure a spot on the group stages is yet unknown, because it depends on the second, third, and fourth position points itself, right? Unless and until we get to see
Right.
those matches coming to an end, then and only then we'll be able to determine which team will be qualified towards the playoffs and which team won't be.
Yeah, won't stop peaking. Their spot in the qualification is still present, but again, the likelihood of them qualifying is relatively unknown. If Kira manage to take even a single map against Team UWU today, it means that won't stop peaking sadly will not be able to qualify. The final matchup they'll have, maximum they'll be able to gather 2 points from it, and then of course it goes down to round differentials if they can get the 8 and if they can push off against Kira Esports and Hunters. Sadly for Team UWU not being able to qualify, this will be the final matchup of Team UWU in the entirety of the South Asian Nationals. So we need to see, can they keep their winning streak going that has been taking place for the past couple of days? Defeated Phalanx, defeated Militant. Now they definitely like to end off on a bang. The 2 maps where Team UWU are by far the strongest have got to be, Skyscraper and Clubhouse. If we do see both of those maps against Kira Esports, there is that likelihood that maybe Team UWU can just take a win against Kira. But then again, Kira are playing for a whole lot more. They want to get into the playoffs. They want a major chunk out of that prize pool that is on offer. So keeping that in mind, yeah, Kira as well, they'll go all guns blazing. They'll make sure that they play the best they ever have. But still, it's all about consistency for both of these teams. There have been, problems plaguing these teams for some time. Even yesterday, we saw for the side of Team UWU that if they are in X versus 1 situation, right, they tend to individualize a lot of the gunfights. There will be times where they take duels one by one and lose out on a couple of them, give a lot of their manpower away, lose a lot of that man advantage they had. Yesterday we saw Heko from Militant get an ace as a bandit on that map of Clubhouse against Team UWU. So keeping that in mind, Team UWU have yet again got to make sure that nothing of such sorts takes place from their end. And of course for Kira, they got to make sure their synergy and their team play is well bound and is together. They cannot be disconnected, or there cannot be any mistakes taking place within those regards. Yeah, plenty of things for these teams to focus on.
Yeah, for Team UWU, if they succeed in winning this matchup up against KIRA Esports, then that would give Won't Stop Peaking a chance to be in the 4th place
Yep.
itself, if and only if their round conversion rate is high as expected it to be. And currently talk about the round conversion rate itself. Won't Stop Peaking has -11, whereas KIRA Esports have +4. So it depends on whether if they could win the match or would we get to see KIRA Esports lose it. We'll be able to take a look at that in the map vetoes itself. The first map will be Theme Park, which is a map being played by Team UWU. Clubhouse from the side of KIRA Esports, and also we have the deciders on map Oregon itself. And the interesting part about the entire South Asian Nationals is that we won't be able to see either Bank or Cafe Dostoevsky being played in this series. And my God, it always have been Theme Park, Oregon, and Clubhouse most of the time. What do you think about that, CCV?
Yeah, Chalet is there as well. Even Skyscraper. So some teams really like this map, but no Cafe, no Bank. It's man. But having a look at this
It's a
map,
ghost
Vito, very
town,
interesting thing. Yes, yeah. But yeah, no, one thing about these banned maps that I find really intriguing is that Kira actually deviated away from their usual strategy. Whenever Kira usually play, I've made this a fact as well, and a lot of people know this, like Bank is their insta ban. But this time, Kira didn't opt for that. Kira straight away banned Skyscraper, and I think we all can understand the reasoning behind it is that Team Uwu are just looking very, very strong. Like I said, these guys defeated Phalanx and Militant Esports only a couple of days ago. So Kira were like, let's just get this map out of the way. We do not want to see it at all in the BO3. And then later on, Kira banned the map of Bank. So that's quite interesting. Team Uwu were like, okay, Skyscraper is banned. We'll pick Theme Park. Let's try that map out. Because I think Team Uwu were already aware Kira are going to pick the map of Clubhouse. That right there, this map of Clubhouse, the map number 2, the second map that we'll be seeing, in my opinion, is going to be that early decider. The winner of Clubhouse will overall be looking to take that win on, well, the best of 3. They have that major advantage. Of course, if one of the teams wins Theme Park and they also end up winning Clubhouse, granted, yeah, it's going to be 2-0. But no, Clubhouse is of the utmost importance because it is the strongest map for both of these rosters to a certain extent, and that right there is where the true test of skill will happen for Uwu and for Kira, all 10 of the members that will be there. So yeah, I gotta say, everyone watching, keep your eyes out for the map of Clubhouse. It's going to be very interesting. But then again, I really want to see Theme Park as well. What kind of plans Team Uwu have readied up, and how will Kira take this map, considering it's not one of their most played maps?
Yeah, theme park. You'd usually see Kira Esports opt in for the usual Clubhouse and Oregon pick, mainly because they have
Yeah.
mastered that site and making sure when it comes to the attack coordination, Kira Esports they do an excellent job in doing so. Although there are some certain situations where Kira Esport might have a smaller weakness to it, and that has to be during the roam games. Sometimes defenders do kind of catch up Kira Esports off guard by surprise, and they've got to make sure that they won't make those same mistakes again. Now talk about Team Uwu. We just saw a similar matchup when they went up against Team Phalanx. Yes, also talking about the ban in Skyscraper was really effective. Mainly, Kira Esports, they know that for Team Uwu, a map like Skyscraper is a very strong pick, and they decide to ban it right away.
Exactly.
So the second map that we
Exactly.
have to talk about has to be Theme Park. Why? Is because Theme Park is considered to be one of the most defender sided maps in this region. A total of 69 map wins on defense itself, whereas only 32 attack round wins on Theme Park. So this clearly shows that no matter, even if it's a 5-1, there's high likely a chance that in the second half we could see the defenders do the same thing and we could see
Yeah.
overtime. There is high likely a chance that it can happen, mainly because for the attackers, it's a very difficult job for them to not only execute towards the side, but also get a guaranteed win, knowing that they only have 30 seconds left. So Theme Park will be a difficult factor in and by itself. And knowing that Kira Esports, on all 3 maps, they're on attack, it will be an even much more tougher task for Team Uwu to secure this.
Yeah, that is true. Team Uwu already, knowing that they are on attack first, means that, yeah, Kira Esports will do everything in their power to, capitalize off the defense and build that early advantage. But yet again, to a certain extent, once more, both of these teams are quite similar in their tendency to build an early lead, but not be always able to, finish the job off or like get the map done. The major example of this was, Kira Esports up against MercenarieZ when we had this, prior to the break in the South Asia Nationals, where Kira Esports were leading 5-1 on that map of Villa. It went to overtime and all that later on. That's how much, MRCZ were able to get that comeback. Even for the side of Team Uwu, yesterday in that 4 versus 5 on Clubhouse, again in a 4v5, the side of Militant, as soon as they went on their defense, managed to go from a 0-6 to a 4-7. Again, they didn't get the map, yes, but the side of Team Uvu, they were not able to close it out very, very early on. So for both of these teams, that mind, like that mentality of, we can make the comeback is going to be there. And if they have that early advantage, the fear will always stay with them that we need to close this map as soon as possible. Otherwise, our opponents will make that comeback. Otherwise, our opponents will, drag the game back into level territory. And then you never know who's going to get that victory. So keeping that in mind, yeah, both of these rosters have necessarily got to make sure if you have the early advantage, just get the map done. Don't pull out anything unnecessarily, risky, any of those kind of plays. Don't go for a lot of spawn peaks or just, run outs or anything along the lines of that. Again, play standard Rainbow Six, make sure what has been working previously works, and just get that map over with. And I feel like I am saying all of this, but still there will be that one instance where one of these teams, no matter who has the early advantage, will not be able to secure it, and we may see a potential comeback, or at least, signs of that happening.
Yeah, I have to agree on that, CCV. For both of these teams, for Team UWU and KIRA Esports, if they have to make a spawn pick, they've got to make sure that whenever they are at a major disadvantage situations, they'll just try to make an attempt, but make sure not to over peak in a way that you might get yourself caught out
Right.
and put yourself in a disadvantage in the first place. Now, since we talked a lot more about the map bans, we talked about map picks, we even talked about the site statistics, the site statistics itself to see which team favors a lot more on attack on defense. We should be talking more about the operators in which we might be able to see a lot of bans which could happen on theme park. You'd usually see a Valkyrie and a Thatcher ban being made on attack as well as on defense almost half of the time. Azami ban, it's usually being made, especially on a map like Clubhouse, is mainly because of that garage catwalk side where you can have extra protection. So you could expect to see an Azami ban on Clubhouse. Not more likely you could see a ban on theme park itself, but there is high likely a chance that could happen if they choose a site to be on second floor bunk and daycare, or maybe including on Armory and Throne Room. But the major thing for the defenders is to ensure that they have a lot of denial utility. So a Kaid ban
Right.
can happen on theme park because mainly Kaid's electroclaws can at least electrify, two of the walls on armory walls itself. But there are some strategies where most of the defenders would just open up one particular wall on barrels and just play for an extended roam all the way from second floor, waste a lot of time, and then head downstairs knowing that the attackers only had 30
Fall back.
seconds. They could, we might, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We've seen mercenaries do this. We've even seen maybe Shaheens do this too. You could maybe able to see Team UWU or maybe KIRA Esports do the same thing as well. But majority of the bans, you could say a Thatcher ban is a must, mainly because of this EMP disabling most of the gadgets on first floor side. On defense, maybe a Mira ban or a Valkyrie ban could happen. But on the attackers, Flores ban can also be a very huge factor resolving this, mainly because of that deployable shield being placed from Armory, and also you even have one of the deployable shield being placed in towards Cafe side as well. So banning Flores, banning Thatcher, Valkyrie, and Mira should be the most ban happening in map theme park itself. But since this is UVO and Kira
Right.
Esports we're talking about, they could either go in with the standard ban, or they could head in for a targeted ban in which we don't have any idea on what kind of operators would it be.
Targeted bans seem unlikely considering, yeah, there's not any, like, there's no specific operator these teams play a whole lot. Maybe, just maybe, they opt for an Azami ban because, again, the thing about Azami is versatility is like the name of the game, right? With Azami, you can be as versatile as possible on any map, which is what makes us so overpowered. But then again, we can theory craft all we want. Let's actually jump into the game. Let's have a look at the match itself. Let's start off with the operator ban phase. All the players have joined in. Everyone is ready. I hope the audience watching are ready and prepared as well, because this is going to be a long, long fight between KIRA Esports and Team UWU. Two teams fighting for two very different objectives, but still fighting with their lives nonetheless. Team UWU start off yet again an OSA ban. We did see an OSA ban, a couple of times. We have been seeing more and more of OSA bans actually recently. And once more, yeah, they make sense. The shield OSA brings and her full arsenal is really helpful for the attackers. And even on Theme Park, OSA can really help out with those long angles on first and second floor, even while entering into cache. So getting her off the board makes sense. And a Twitch ban is quite interesting. So it's not Flores, rather the different, drone wielding operator that's off the board.
Which means that the Thatcher will be available for the attackers, especially on a map like Theme Park. Although OSA and Twitch, I could understand why they would ban those kinds of attackers in the first place, mainly because of the bulletproof shield and also the secondary EMP gadget that she has. But when I talk about defensive bans, again, expected Valkyrie will be banned out, especially when you have a lot of information to the table, which is hidden in a way that the attackers don't have any idea. You'd be forced to bring in an IQ, which could have a lot of problems in the attack, in the attackers operators composition itself. Mira will be banned as well on defense because she is a very great operator when it comes to anchoring down the sites, no matter if the site is on first floor, second floor. When you have an information like the mirrors, it is very difficult for the attackers to even push through. Yes, of course, there are multiple counters to it. You could place a smoke grenade, you could even melee the mirror to, give them less amount of information, but showing its presence itself will give a lot of problems for the attackers. So talk about the first round itself. The site has already been picked. It will be on second floor, bunk and daycare. Okay, this is interesting. Usually you'd see either office or initiation room or maybe throne and armory, but Team
Yeah.
UWU are making a different choice here on bringing bunk and daycare instead.
Yeah, Bunkin Daycare has always had this reputation of being, the plan B, the backup defense, or like the backup, or like the second strongest side, where it's a site you can always rely on. Not in the sense that like Armory and Throne, that's a very, very strong defensive site, and it's just practically a free defense round, most, again, statistically, for most of the defending teams. Bunk and Daycare is that side where you can go back to if things are not going according to plan. Like you said, Baba, on office and initiation, if you really are failing to the attackers barrage from cash room, from CCTV security, okay, like, all right, our office initiation isn't working, we fall back a step, we go to Monk and Daycare, we defend from there, and then we fend off these attackers. And same goes for Armory and Throne. If for some reason that's also not working out, you go there. But this time, Team UWU have made the choice of directly opting for that bomb site as the first one. That's really, really interesting. I need to see, and we all need to see actually now. Kira's method of attack. Like, where exactly are they looking for that first kill, and where they're looking for the entry? So seems like they want to enter from the cafe side of things, but yet again, it's the opening frag of the day. It's Dagger. He was shining yesterday against Militant Esports, and yet again, he's back into action. He wants to go for the second kill, downs a third as well, and secures one more frag. So KIRA Esports are down in numbers. They've lost all of their manpower that was situated on the cafe side. The diffuser is dropped. Getting back into it will take some time for these attackers.
Yeah, this was an unexpected peak being made from Dagger all the way from Cafe. I'm pretty sure that both Atharva and Avid, had no idea that Alibi was in that position. So the element of surprise really did give good amount of rewards to it. Both the Hard Breacher and the Iana has been taken care of from the side of Team UWU. So for KIRA Esports, they need to make do without the Hard Breachers. And since the Ying doesn't have his, secondary Hard Breach, the walls, though, will be even much more protected, and they need to rely on those doorways, which, in fact, will give a much more advantage towards the side of Team UWU. So they could block some lines aside with the help of smoke grenades, and also a bit of the help with the Candelas that Shisha's going to throw right about now. And I believe a drop will happen nonetheless. There you go. Shisha's been dropped along with the diffuser, as he will proceed to push all the way towards initiation room. Now, let's not forget, the site is in bunk and daycare. Although they have control on office initiation room, they only have 35 seconds in which they need to make their push.
Yep. for the side of KIRA, they've made good progress, but they're still looking for that breakthrough to start that domino effect, of moving forward. They need to either find a way to enter or get a kill. This time it's Ragnarok gets one, yet another SMG-11. Full auto fire, and it's going to be KIRA Esports fired away from round number 1. Have a look at the replay as well, and yeah, beautiful. Beautiful stuff right there. Once more, the attackers, just too much pressure on their shoulders. They were forced to make the move. Look at, how Shrisha entered the room right there. He was checking that angle. He could not clear everything because, again, it's such a highly contested room. It's one of the bomb sites. And with so much time pressure, the attackers had no choice but to make that play. And sadly, it costed them. So you had Dagger start things off with a double kill with that MX4 Storm. And now you had Ragnarok in the SMG-11 once more end things off. Really good defense from Team UWU. Once more, they didn't do too much. They didn't overpeak the angles. They didn't even contest KIRA Esports really actively when they were looking for the map control. Okay, early on, Dagger was there in Cafe. He went for a couple of the kills. That's all well and good, but after that, everyone fell to the bomb side. They waited for Shrisha, they waited for Vortex, and they waited for Deathmer. Once they came in, then they killed them.
10 seconds left before insertion.
Yep. For Team UWU, this is a really great start for them, especially in the first round. Securing bunk in daycare, all thanks to the help of Dagger, being at a very unexpected position in towards Cafe, where both Atharv and Avidvi had no idea. But really did put Team UWU at a very good hold once they made their push in towards, second floor initiation room / office. And knowing that you only have 30 seconds left with no walls being opened up, not, the smokes not being able to use to full perfection, you even did get to see the Candelas already being used in towards the server side, mainly because KIRA had no information on players' whereabouts. So this will also be a difficult task for them, although this could also be difficult for Team UWU as well, mainly because the site itself is in second floor initiation room / office, which means that you will see heavy resistance being made in towards the catch room, and you could always know that there will be some problems being made all the way from Dragon Stairs. So KIRA Esports will go in on a different method. Some wall banks being made from Death Armor. For a moment there, I thought he had the angle to remove one of the players who are holding in towards Bunk, and that is a really great long angle all the way from Cafe hallway. So if Deresh decides to, give away his positionings a bit, maybe he could get himself scored out, but no, he will still stay alive. And the angle from Death Armor, turns out it's not working out for him.
Yeah, yet again, another kill on towards Cafe. And yet another for the side of Team UWU. Once more, it's Avidvi to be the player taken off the board. Avidvi, we know him to be, again, that strong entry fragger, but so far he has been silenced. And the rest of KIRA Esports as well. Ooh, not having the best of times entering. Deathmer has barely made it in towards the entrance of Break Room. Atharv moves in from Cafe. Shut down. Vector works. Oh, Drish finds the second player as well. There's not much Amar can do. Take the shots, take the kills one by one. Now, problem for him is Goyo is in a very powerful state with a very powerful gun, and of course he has the C4 in hand as well. All of that working well with each other means that yet again Team UWU have an easy time eliminating the members of KIRA. And yeah, for this round, you don't even need to talk about the bomb side. All of the kills happened outside of it. KIRA weren't even allowed entry back into the building as soon as they were killed off.
Yep, once again, we will see Team UWU secure it with style, even with them having a major disadvantage, even with KIRA Esports going on a different method of pushing in. They did, go in for a control towards second floor bunk, where they entered in through, with the help of a rappel, in towards the window side. The main problem of it all is that Team UWU, they knew exactly where the players' positionings were. Once they realized that they have Cafe control, all they've got to do was just focus in towards second floor bunk, where there were two crossfire angles being set up from the side of Team UWU. You even had Dagger, you even had Ragnarok, both of them holding their own respective angles, and they did ended up securing that win nonetheless. What it did make was that on the side of Team UWU, you saw that almost half of the players, they currently were in second floor bunk, but the site was on second floor initiation room / office, right? So not a lot of players were present in that particular place. So it was all 5 players playing outside the site. And somehow KIRA Esports, once again, not having any information properly towards the drone, it would have been best for them to have at least 2 or 3 players pushing towards the cash room, establish that good, double angle where Team UWU will be forced to, make a decision to either look on the left side or the right side in a way that they get themselves confused. Maybe KIRA Esports would have gotten themselves the advantage on that time, but UWU, on the other hand, they decided to go aggressive, and the aggressiveness really did give them the win that they required, 2-0, and now they are back in Armory and Throne Room, the site where the defenders have the maximum amount of success rate on defense. Let's see how KIRA Esports succeed on this site.
Yet again, this time KIRA Esports don't have any problems entering the building. They have done so really nicely and, most importantly, very safely. No one has died, no casualties as of now. That's all well and good for the attackers, but once more, bigger problems lie in front of them. The biggest definitely being, how do you proceed forward? Where do you look for that entry? Do you want to flush out the roamers? Do you want to attack the side directly? Is vertical control something that's very important to KIRA, or is it going to be getting the breach open? They have got the Thatcher Thermite combo. These guys can easily, go down into maintenance right here. They can breach. As a matter of fact, I think Atharv is readying up for exactly that. So yeah, KIRA and their priority is going to be getting the breach open, which will happen relatively quickly. The Electroclaw, the Mute Jammer, I don't think they'll be able to hold off from all the barrage of utility KIRA will be throwing. Not only that, biggest change for KIRA is going to be they themselves get the opening kill, and another dagger has been silenced. Atharv gets his revenge. Ragnarok on second floor is already on very low HP. He's got no choice but to retreat. Now this is looking like a round for the attackers.
Yeah, and since the breach has been opened up, Drish is still in towards second floor, and he has no idea where the players out of KIRA Esports are presented towards itself. First floor Armory, it's been entirely compromised. C4's being tossed out to remove the player from Atharv, won't be able to connect whatsoever. Drish is still trying to contest the Nomad, while now it's a post plant where Nani is going to go very aggressive. He will find the first, but can he find the second? That's the biggest question of it all, because he's currently in towards maintenance, and maybe Thresh might be able to give themselves away here. 2v3. Ragnarok has been downed out. They could go in for a revive, in which he will do it so. Nani will revive Ragnarok back to at least 10 HP, and one of them will be proceeding with the defuse. No grenades left, which means that Avidwi, he needs to push in all the way from maintenance. Nani's heading in for it. Avidwi, he goes for the push. Can he finds the kill? Yes, he does. Denies the time as best as possible. Now it's a 1v2. It's all up to Avidwi to secure this defuse. They only have 6 seconds, and now it's at the point of no return. What just happened? No! KIRA Esports, Avidwi, he just not only succeeded to deny the plan, but he also secures 2 kills. What just happened? You could have just... They could have got the round. All they had to do was just make sure that Nani has good amount of protection, but they did not have that. No protection from the defuse.
Here. Exactly. When Avidwi swung for the first time, where was the... Okay, I know for a fact the Goyo was on Dragon Stairs and he just killed the other attacker. Where was the third defender looking exactly?
I believe
was it like
the
towards
third
the main
defender...
entrance?
I guess the third defender went aggro to remove Atharv. That's what I'm guessing, because... Actually, no, Death Armor was present at that time. So we saw Death Armor being removed out, and then it was a 1v3 situation. And Avidwi, he realized that the defuse wasn't even protected properly. So he went in for the peek.
Yep.
And I think it could have been better instead if Nani was holding the angle and Ragnarok was the one to, go for the defuse. Nani could have had at least some good protection to ensure that this post plant would have happened. But once I saw the time, I realized that, this was supposed to be their round. And they lost it because they decided to go for frags in a post plant. Like, why? Just why?
Now, the talking point we had in the pre-match presentation, that there have been times where Team UWU gave up that X versus 1 scenario and almost lose out the rounds. Well, they did lose one out. Granted, it was a post-plant. still applicable. Avidvi got all 3 of the kills and he protected the diffuser from being disabled. So that's that. Round number 1 for KIRA Esports. They've gotten 1 round, and genuinely, if KIRA can get another, if they can get a 2-4 half, they'll be ecstatic with their attack on Theme Park. Team UWU have got to make sure the final 3 rounds, the final objective rotation that they'll have going in Bunk Daycare, then Office, then Armory, they win all 3 of them. They cannot, I mean, again, I can't, on Theme Park, you have such extreme circumstances. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the defenders can't look for anything less than a 5-1. Usually, if a map favors the defenders like Oregon and all, 4-2 is considered to be that perfect equilibrium. But on Theme Park, no, it's 5-1. So yeah, Team UWU have got to make sure they win these rounds. KIRA Esports, on the other hand, I know for a fact, and I think everyone knows for a fact, they'll be pretty happy with that last round. The only thing is, can they continue and can they keep this going? The breach is done, the Goyo Vulcan shield explodes, the attackers will have to back off, but yet again, all the attackers are safe and sound for now. 90 seconds remain, it's still a 5v5.
Yep, at least on the bright side, you could say that KIRA Esports will be making good progress. At least they've made sure that in the mid rounds they won't be able to lose a lot of bodies. Turns out Drish wants to go in a very aggressive stage, finds the Thermite, will miss the opportunity, and he'll just make sure to fall back instead. They still have some good amount of C4s, one of the Vulcan shield which has already been popped out all the way from second floor bunk. Now all they have to do is just make sure that they hold their ground out and force the attackers to push in 30 seconds, where the trap will be laid nonetheless. Time is still ticking. Cooked grenade will be made. Dagger just he will be safe from those frag grenades, but a lot of damage will be dealt around from his end. And for KIRA Esports, getting an opening pick will be heavily required, and turns out they will find one. Taking out Nanny, second kill will be done from Vortex, and the third, the crossbar angles that have been made from the breach, will grant them 3 important kills, which leads to Dagger and DZ left in a very difficult state to be in 4v2. A third beautiful shot, cannot find the second, where Dagger is still here to get the confirmation. It's 1v3. Having the MX4 Storm in hand, he might have the information regarding Rayer's whereabouts, and that push might be able to get a win, but no, Death Hammer is very quick on that shot. Will get the headshot and give KIRA Esports the win on round number 4 itself. This is the first time I'm seeing an equalizer that's been happening right now here, folks. 2-2 on a map like Theme Park as we proceed to round number 5.
Now is the main question for Team for Team UWU. Do they go back to Bunk and Daycare? Do they choose Office and Initiation? Seems like these guys have made their choice. Bunk Daycare it is, and not much changing. Oryx brought out from Ragnarok this time, so they are leaving the mute behind. Rather, they're focusing on another roamer, someone to, get the kills early on in the round. Makes sense, right? Because KIRA Esports in that last round, they were able to enter very, very quickly. And this change of mentality, and again, the change of plan from KIRA helped them. When we saw round number 1, where were KIRA looking to enter from? Cafe and Arcade. Where did Dagger get his double kill? Cafe. A third one of it, we died. This time, KIRA were like, screw that, we're not going to go there. We instead will be focusing on the opposite side. We'll be entering from cash, we'll be entering from security. That's how we'll make our entrance. We get initiation, we get the breach done, and then we move forward. Everything went to plan. KIRA got the breach done really rapidly, and then they moved on forward. They pushed it to a 5 versus 3. Not only did they get the initial kill, yet another follow-up as well. So yeah, keeping that in mind, Team UWU now, these guys need to play some reactive Rainbow-Six-Siege. They have got to make sure they see where KIRA entering from and then adapt to it. They cannot have that set plan in place, and already, Team UWU are adapting to it. This is good to see. Nani is in security. Below the hatch, there's that, barbed wire as well to further, not like make the attackers want to jump down. This is all well and good. They're positioning themselves in such a way to prepare for KIRA's execute. Now, the only question is, once KIRA, what is KIRA's plan? Do they still want to enter from cash and security? If they want to, then will they be able to be successful or not? Because the entry kill matters a lot. It's highly influential. Every single round that these teams have won so far, out of all 4 that we have seen, the team who gets the opening kill has been winning the entire round. So if you get the opener, chances are your team will be in a very, in a very advantageous state.
KIRA Esports will decide to, challenge the angle instead of changing their sights. Turns out having those keeper barriers will be a lot of problems for KIRA Esports to deal with, especially with Ragnarok, who will decide to get his first frag. Vortex will be dealt with some major damage all the way from control room. And the Vulcan shield will be popped off to deny a lot of damage. And here comes a Whitby's nade, finding one of its prey, and that is DZ, an important one, because no more of those kunai barriers will help them provide good amount of cover in one particular place. And brute forcing this way all the way from the side of initiation room could help them, but instead they've got to be prepared for major gunfights, in which Ragnarok has succeeded in winning both of them. Playing as the Oryx, he succeeds in removing both a Turf and a Whitby, which means that Vortex needs to find another way, but he was unaware of Dress's location all the way towards that particular spot. And now, although they have control, although they've succeeded in going in for those important trade-outs, you still forgot about Ragnarok, who is in on his third. Is up for the ace, and it can happen. But now it's all in the hands of Shisha. 1v2, and Shisha secures a kill towards Nani. Ragnarok, he's still holding that place all the way from second floor bunk. That position is so strong that it's very difficult for KIRA Esports to push in. And Dagger sees the head, gets the headshot, and will secure UWU for round number 5. 3-2 will be the score line. And I've got to say, for KIRA Esports, there was great attempts being made from them. They decided to brute force their way in all the way towards that setup that Team UWU had presented itself. Although, yes, there were met with a lot of battles, but in the end, it always depended on the hold that Ragnarok was playing all the way from second floor bunk, right? That was the place where Ragnarok did ended up getting trade outs, in which 3 of them did go at the hands of Team UWU. So a great adaptations being made from the side of the defenders as we now proceed to round number 6. 3-2. High likely a chance that this first half could end in a 4-2 scoreline, which is in fact a decent, good first half coming in on the side of KIRA Esports.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, for KIRA, they'll be pretty happy with a 4-2 once they go on their defense. And again, we know for both of these teams, their defense is their strong point. Even once we go to map number 2, Clubhouse, right? I think we'll be seeing that in effect, that the defenders will be taking a lot more rounds than the attackers, regardless of who is defending and who is attacking. Both of these teams, they'll be looking to achieve just the same result. Regardless of that, so far on Theme Park, it's been amazing to see both of these teams, constantly changing and making their defenses and their attacks better. They have been improving. That is very, very good. We had, KIRA Esports learn that entering from Cafe will not work on Bunk and Daycare. Time to enter from Cash and Security. They did that and they defeated Team UWU. And then Team UWU realized, okay, KIRA are entering from Cash and Security. Time to set up our defenses in such a way we can counter that. That's why they had Ragnarok playing like that. Their entire defense also shifted in terms of the direction, and because of that, Team UWU also managed to win a round. So this entire matchup has been a lot of a battle of constantly improvising and improving, and again rectifying the mistakes you have been making earlier. That is really, really good to see. Now we just need to make sure, and these teams just need to make sure they keep on doing that for the entirety of the BO3. For Clubhouse and for Oregon, they constantly learn from their mistakes, and they are very, very quick with their adaptations. We have seen that right now. Within rounds, like within the next round, these guys can change a lot of their plans. So that's a very good ability to have. Right now, the Vulcan Shield almost got a victim of Whitby. He's got to make sure he will not be the first casualty. So yeah, he takes a step back for a little bit.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage from the Goya's Vulcan Shield, especially knowing that the timer is a total of 20 seconds. That fire is still present for a total of 20 seconds. But now it's finally been dissipated. A Whitby can now patiently move all the way towards the cash room, but you also need to make sure that you have control in towards initiation room as well. Good amount of denials being made, and talk about denials, we'll get to see a one-tap from Dagger. Although I wish we could have get to see that from his perspective. he will secure in removing Shrisha. There goes your EMP gadget Thatcher, which could have been very helpful in opening up important walls, but I believe it's been already used, and a third has already used one of his Ace Salma breach charges to open up some certain lines of sight. And now Amar, once again, he will rotate all the way back towards the window side of arcade, hoping to find a pick or two. But once he starts to remove the kunai barriers, he will be able to give away his positioning as of now. 30 seconds, they're losing a lot of time, and I just realized that's a Vulcan shield. Oh, properly timed. They don't have enough time to even go in for the push. There's only 30 seconds. Amar will be forced to go all the way from the hallways of yellow stairs, in which Vortex gets caught out from the Vulcan shield. My god, Team UWU, they played it accordingly to time, and they just executed it flawlessly. KIRA Esports, they don't have much time left once again, and Dagger gets away with 2. Then he gets the other. It's a 2v3. Not a lot of time left. They only have 5 seconds, and the Vulcan shield is still alive, burning and forcing Vortex to push from within. And Nani will get away with one more kill. My god, I just realized that there was a Vulcan shield being placed at the side of Cafe, and KIRA Esports not having a glimpse of information on that one particular utility. Once they pushed into a 30 seconds, and once they removed the armor panel, they were like, oh no, 20 seconds. We have to wait for it now. Oh no, we have to push. There's no other way. Panic starts to set around from KIRA Esports, and my god, did UWU played so well accordingly when it comes to information.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
Yet again, yeah, information and the utility placement was completely on par with exactly what Team UWU wanted to achieve. So really, really good stuff on their part. You know, exceptional how they played it. KIRA Esports, they wanted to attack, but once more, just being denied from the start means KIRA had to fight their way through. And in doing so, they lost their manpower, they lost their utility, and of course, most importantly, time was of the essence, and time was lost from the side of KIRA. They could not be as efficient with their execution as they wanted to be. They could not, easily cut through the defense of Team UWU. Really, they had to just, go back and forth, bullets being fired left and right. But side swap has now happened. Team UWU have a 2-round advantage, and it is up to them to, not give any bit of momentum back to KIRA. Team UWU have won the last 2 rounds consecutively. Their defense has been looking good. On attack, if KIRA starts off with winning Vs, we can see a 4-4 very, very closely, and then you never know where the match is going to go. Best for Team UWU is, this is their map selection. Take that early win here. Are KIRA Esports going to let them take the win here? Absolutely not. They are going to fight tooth and nail. They are going to fight, above and beyond for exactly that. For these rounds, best be careful. And yeah, already we are seeing so many fights take place. KIRA yet again contesting towards Cafe and Arcade. There are 3 attackers here. No attacker seems to be wanting to relocate. Everyone wants to push up from here. But again, question is, how do you push forward? How do you break through the bulletproof shield and Vortex playing behind it, of course with the support of Deathmer as well?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a map being picked by Team UWU. So although we've seen a lot of impressive plays being made on defense, we should expect to see the same thing on attack too. Especially with Nani securing his first frag. Athar's been eliminated. Oh no, Vortex's location has been compromised, but he'll still get away with the down. And a confirmation from Death Amar, and here comes the retrade from the side of Ragnarok. But for KIRA Esports, they are still fighting strong. DZ, oh no, peak, and he still gets away with the win. Oh jeez. 2v3. Now KIRA Esports are facing a lot of problems from their end because they just lost the first floor control. They can now only rely on Frostmat traps and Death Amar's weaponry of the AUG to ensure to get at least a kill or 2 and make sure that the UWU's push would not happen. It turns out we will find one, equalizing the man count itself to a 2v2 situation. Now they just have to go in for the push and secure post plant. But DZ, he is still all the way from below, using the gadget to give away the not giving away the location, and he will get away with the kill. Now it's a 1v2. A Whitby is left all by himself. Will the trade happen? No! Trade's been denied! And a Whitby, he just got the perfect opportunity that UWU just gave a perfect lineup for him to get the win.
Yeah, okay, let's wait for the instant replay. But he shot. Oh man, how? Oh, really, really unfortunate. That had to be Team Uwu's round. They were looking so good. They broke through, the barrier of KIRA Esports. They made sure that Kira's defense would not be the most stable. But sadly, they lost out towards the very end. Whitby, really good play from his end as well. And overall, I gotta say, this match has been a lot of back and forth. So far, it's coming down to the gunfights. Even the 1v3 of it we had to pull off in that post one was a great example of that. Yeah, this entire matchup is very interesting. One can only imagine how the end of the map will be. Like, which team will be in advantage? How shall they be looking? But a timeout call by Team Uwu, they had actually called this timeout pretty early in the action phase. So I think, yeah, they want to have a proper discussion about their attacking half and what needs to be done in order to make sure the one round lead they have right now stays with them. They're the ones sticking to the lead, and it's not the other way around with KIRA Esports equalizing the score and potentially looking to get in front. Because so far in this entire matchup, KIRA have not been in the lead. They have been able to equalize on one instance, but still they haven't been able to take that lead. So keeping that in mind, Team Uwu want to secure this. Team Uwu just want to make sure that indeed is the case. But yeah, you never really know how it's going to end up. But overall, I gotta say that yeah, now for KIRA Esports, what's their next strategy? They know their defense can be broken by Team Uwu. How do they strengthen it? How do they make sure the initial kill goes their way? Kind of like what was happening on Team Uwu's defense, where the defenders just had such a good advantage.
Yeah, everything was working well for Team Uwu, especially on early to mid rounds. They didn't lose a lot of bodies. They even got the opening pick. They even pushed in as a team to secure those trade outs. Even Nani was there, so did Ragnarok. But the only problem was the last kill from a Whitby,
Attackers need to
where his
locate and
position
defuse bombs.
was still unknown. And DZ was heavily focused in towards second floor bunk that the whole hallway wasn't even looked at. Not even an attack drone was present at that moment for Team Uwu to give that vital information. And Avidvi, he will get away with an important 2 kills that will secure KIRA Esports on a much more further place. 3-4. KIRA Esports are securing rounds based on the mistakes that Team Uwu has been doing it for these two halves. First half, we also did get to witness that mistake from Team Uwu's end by not going in for the defuse and going in for frags. Now in round number 7, that was also the same thing. This time, Team Uwu didn't had any information on Avidvi's whereabouts, and once they realized that Frost was in that position, all Avidvi had to do was just continue with his fire. Make sure, and also with his weapon that has 0 recoil, he will end up getting the kill nonetheless. My goodness, it's definitely a tough pill to swallow for Team Uwu, mainly because this round could have been a 5-1. There was high likely a chance that this could have went 5-1 if that mistakes weren't made from the side of Team Uwu, and now it's a 3v4 because of it. Action phase is already present, so does the players on the side of Team KIRA Esports and Uwu, prepping themselves to push towards from their particular positioning. All the way from Cash Room, will we get to see Team Uwu try to gain control on that certain place? But wait a minute, Legion once again, prone peak, but he will, not a good idea, Thurv. DZ will definitely catch him away. While a third was trying to get a cheeky opening pick, but turns out that was definitely being looked at from DZ. He will secure the kill and also give the opening pick at the hands of Team Uwu.
Yep. That's it yet again for KIRA Esports. These guys, they've got to make sure the opening kill starts going in their way. So far, that really hasn't been the case. That's one of the major reasons why Team Uwu have such good advantage later on, in the round, why they're able to essentially make sure that towards the late stages they can try and win these rounds. So keeping that in mind, yeah, they gotta make sure that next time onwards KIRA and their entry kills are good. But so far, once more, it's been back and forth. Dagger has been completely outed from this round. Ragnarok has been put in that down but not out state as well. Will be revived, but the alibi, the lesion, these guys being gone means that now it's all down to the anchors. They've got to do something. The Mute, the Capcom, even Vortex needs to retreat back into the side because the attackers are already here. The attackers have made their way towards, office. They're looking to move in very, very soon unless KIRA do something about it. It's now going to be ending up good. Oh, nice headshot from Drish. Pushes when Avidbi wasn't looking. Lot of pressure on these remaining defenders. One all alone. He's got the support. Shrisha and Vortex. Not a crossfire, but still holding angles for each other, making sure the backs are being covered, making sure that no teammate falls down, and rather they rise up together and they still stand strong because it's all down to Dizzy, the person who got the first kill. He's the final man standing for his team. 15 seconds on the clock. The two defenders are still here. They're not going anywhere. No, this is their home turf. They will still stick around. They will wait for this Ash to make a move. And indeed, it shall be KIRA Esports who win out this 2 versus 4 because they looked out for each other.
Yep. In a game of Rainbow Six Siege, all they have to do is look after each other, and turns out KIRA Esports will secure that win. It was a 2v4. And the Vortex, who was currently playing from the whole the rotate which was being made all the way from Yellow Stairs hallway, decides to go aggressive to go all the way towards the office. And once that crossfire angles was set up, it was just good protection from both Srisha and Atharv to make sure that no matter what kind of push do we get to see from the side of Team UWU, it will be denied. And my god, did they deny it so well. My god, KIRA Esports, they just for once, when I saw DZ got himself the initial frag, and when I saw Nani with a beautiful prediction to remove the Mute out while he was so busy throwing out the C4, masking his movement. For a moment there, I thought, you know what? Who has got the entire site? They got second for initiation room. They could go in for a backside, for a default plant. But turns out there was this one deployable shield being placed alongside with an ADS, which wasn't destroyed. And they only had 40 seconds left for that to happen. And plus, Amaru was still present with the flashbangs. He could have just used it. But when it comes to the heat of the moment, when you try to make a decision, you would definitely go in for a much more aggressive approach. So once the Amaru went in for the initial pick, he decides to go in to remove Shrisha, but turns out Shrisha won the gunfight with the help of that deployable shield in itself. And now, since the scoreline is 4-4, Team UWU, in which they had a tremendous performance on a map like Theme Park. I loved the way how they've changed their strategies on defense, including a lot of Goya's Vulcan shield more than the smoke gas canisters. We didn't get to see smoke being played a lot from both the sides, right? From both KIRA Esports and Team
Don't think
UWU.
we ever saw him.
Not a single round did we get to see a smoke being played from either of these two teams, and yet they execute the site such flawlessly, heavily relied on their deployable shields and the denials which has been placed either from the Vulcan shield from the side of Team UWU, and the amount of information being gained from the side of KIRA Esports. So you could say it's a battle between information versus denial. And turns out, although the denial really did help out so well from the side of Team UWU, for KIRA Esports, they are heavily relying on information. So I'm quite curious to know exactly what is going to happen on round number 9, knowing that they will bring in the Echo's yokai drones. So yeah, at this point, even I'm also speechless, because most of the time when you see map Theme Park, it's always defender wins, no matter if it's a 5-1, 6-0 match point. You would always see in the second half, if one of the side, if you see defense either claiming 0 or 1 wins, you'd expect overtime. But now this is not the case. You could say that Team UWU, despite making so many mistakes, they can still come back. There is still a possibility that UWU can secure map Theme Park, and they've got to make sure that when it comes to making mistakes like this, they shouldn't make those once again.
Absolutely. Team UWU, now it's time to, buckle up and make sure that, like you said, Baba, no mistakes take place, because this is, after all, their map choice. I know for a fact Second map, I've already said this, it's going to be that early decider. Clubhouse is going to be very important. For that reason, both of the teams are quite strong. So I'm not saying that if Team UWU lose here, they risk losing map number 2. Map number 2 is still going to be pretty equal, in my opinion, at least, until we go into the server. Only then can we see what the actual result shall be. But yeah, overall, we still need to wait and watch out for, map number 1 and the side of Team UWU. The thing is, these guys had that advantage. Sadly, they just haven't been able to continue with it. So many of these rounds, they're coming down to KIRA Esports, capitalizing off the mistakes of their opposition and ultimately claiming the victory because of it. Be it a 1 versus 3, be it a 2 versus 4, or any other instance. KIRA Esports are, simply just holding their ground and making sure that it's a victory for them. And it's Team UWU usually committing those mistakes.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Yep.
Bomb located.
Now
by
let's
attackers.
just see what round number 9 has in stores for both these teams, for Kira and for Team UWU. Mainly the pause was requested because one of the players on the side of Team UWU had disconnected, so for him to reconnect back, we did took at least a minute or two to make sure that he's back in the game. But talk about this round here. The site being on Armory and Throne Room, this site will be even much more tougher for the attackers unless and until if they get their strategies right on track. And expect that when it comes to players on the side of KIRA Esports, you have to expect at least a roam game that could happen all the way from the second floor side. Maybe you could see players holding out all the way towards second floor bunk and wait for the perfect opportunity to remove the players off by surprise, especially when they try to open up those vertical lines of side itself. Vortex, on the other hand, will bring in the bandit, which means the mute hasn't been brought out yet, so maybe they're just heavily relying on removing utilities instead of disabling it, which could have helped the defenders when it comes to providing less amount of information into a side. That could have happened. And since you had 4 mute jammers, you could use 3 of them from the walls, and one of the extra mute jammers could have been used to deny information. But turns out they are letting Team UWU have information instead, and turns out Drish removes one of them. That is Death Amar. That's the initial frag at the early round, which means that with the alibi gone, they can now freely roam all the way towards second floor and force at least one of the defenders to go all the way upstairs, and that will be none other than a Vidwi.
Yet again, while there are many issues, plaguing the side of Team UWU, KIRA Esports, same thing for them. For Team UWU, their weakness is the late round. For KIRA Esports, it's their early round. Once again, you have 2 people without trades completely out and gone from the server for round number 9. No trades whatsoever. Team UWU simply walked in, held their angles, killed Death Hammer, killed Vortex, and that's about it. And again, Vidvi is there on the second floor. He's still alive, but he's all by himself. If he dies, that's pretty much it. You've got to make sure, as KIRA, you guys stick together. Right now, not much is happening. Shrish also very low on HP. In the side, he's now gone. The defense of KIRA is, it's very disconnected. It's not together right now.
Yeah, it really is in CCV. And talk about the time itself. 50 seconds, although Team UWU have secured the site and also DZ securing one more kill, which would lead to Vidwi all by himself in a 1v4 situation. He knows the push has been happening all the way towards first floor armory. Now he's got to make sure to get a kill. Oh, beautiful headshot to remove Nanny. And now he's going to reposition himself all the way from the doorway side while Ragnarok succeeds with the post plant. And now for Avidwi, this is a very difficult task for him to go through. 1v3, Dagger finds out exactly where Avidwi is going through. The reposition will be red. And just like that, we will see Team UWU secure round number 9 as well. Facing no issues whatsoever. Uwu once they realized that they removed that armor out, they instantly got control on second floor. They even opened up the wall from maintenance wall. There was no problems, mainly because the roam games that Kira Esports had played was been taken care of significantly. And just like that, we will see
Exactly.
Team Uwu secure a round on attack. But now here comes the biggest problem: can they be
Attackers need to locate
consistent?
and defuse bombs.
Can they, make the same wins like they did on round number 9, or would they make the same mistakes that Kira Esports would put themselves back in towards an equalizer that can happen in the second half? That's the only question that I have to ask. Team Uwu, they have secured a really great attack push all the way from first floor army and throne room, and now since Kira Esports are back in second floor bunk and daycare, for the attackers, can they adapt to this?
Yeah, the attackers need to adapt to it. Most importantly for Kira as well, question is, there was a particular reason why Team Uwu was so consistent with how they were able to win their defensive rounds, even on bunk and daycare.
Must locate and
It's
defuse
because
bombs.
they were contesting the attackers very early on in such a way that they wasted their time and utility. What Team Uwu were doing wasn't about manpower. They weren't necessarily always going for kills. Rather, they were focusing on the fact that we set up our room in such a way that when Kira Esports attack, it becomes very slow. Their attack gets bogged down with so much utility. Baba, you had highlighted the castle barricades and the Goyo shields. That wasted so
Yeah.
much time on the side of Kira Esports. Similarly, Kira also need to do something similar. They
I
cannot
believe what
focus
Kira-
completely on kills. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I believe what Kira Esports are trying to do is that instead of relying on denial, they are relying on opening picks. Although that this is a very risky maneuver being made from Kira Esports, they always rely on this mainly because it yields high results. And especially the main reason why the previous round didn't work out was mainly because Death Armor was picked out very early. And now with this deployable shield, which unfortunately didn't get removed out, which will be right now, a lot of explosives will be used to remove one of the players out from Cafe, and that distraction is more than enough to secure a third of the kill. Now they're heavily relying on these crossfire angles, in which Kira Esports have already secured one kill. They've already dealt major damage to Ragnarok, and maybe a confirmation on the kill can happen too once that peak happened. Oh boy! Oh, you just love to see that, CCB. A headshot, one peek, just a quick peek. We will get to see Team Kira Esports secure 2 of the important kills. Like I said, they're heavily relying on crossfire angles. They're making sure that whenever they get those initial frags, they'll be able to get a kill. And turns out it is working out flawlessly for Kira Esports, as they'll now get one more kill. Dagger will eventually remove Kira out of that place, a third. But now in a 2v4 situation, knowing that there's only 30 seconds left, all Kira has to do is just be on the site and wait for Team Uwu to show their presence.
Exactly. Yet again, for the side of Kira, hold their ground. Ish. Does he spot there's a defender there? Does he check that angle? Yes, he does. But again, in return, he is himself met with heavy fire and very quickly eliminated. So, all down to Dagger. Top fragger of the entire game. He has 13 kills and 5 deaths. Make that 6 deaths now. Kira Esports will be winning their 5th round. And yet again, they equalize at 5-5. And once more, Kira have been able to equalize the scoreline, but they haven't taken the advantage. Is this their chance? Is this what they're looking for? Team Uwu, last round, sadly for their side, they completely, fell to the ground. They weren't able to essentially make do with what happened. They went for the kills, they immediately died off, and like you said, Baba, this time for Kira, the high risk, high reward play really worked wonders because they got that initial kill and another and another. The man count was so little on the side of the attackers, they just couldn't do anything. They couldn't move forward. They were not able to, secure those frags. So because of that very reason, and of course they couldn't launch an execution, because of that reason, Kira took that easy round win. This time, however, what is Uwu's method of attack? Are they looking to enter from Cafe yet again? Do they want to go that Cafe arcade route? Or will they finally change their sides, enter from cash and security, and potentially look for an early execute and then to just plant the diffuser and play the post plant.
Yeah, these two sites, second floor office initiation room and also bunk in daycare, will be the most difficult sites for Team UWU to secure this round. And I've got to say, KIRA Esports, although they've managed to secure their round properly, they just got to make sure that whenever they try to make an attempt of an early peak, they should not get removed out. And once, if they did, if it did happen, if Death Hammer gets picked out once again, then it's all over. Team UWU can just immediately get control on the situation, remove players one by one, dismantle their crossfire efficiency, and just get the win without facing any issues whatsoever. So when it comes to a backup plan, KIRA Esports, they don't have any. So they've got to make sure that whenever they try to make an initial frag, they've got to make sure that they have to give it all they've got. Information will be given once again from the Alibi Prismas. Good chunk of information being given all the way from the cafe side. So Death Hammer will try to gain a kill or two. Minor damage will be dealt around from Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But he will stay alive nonetheless. But I've got to say, this push from cafe will be even much more tougher, knowing that the hatch has already been opened up, but Vortex still wants to contest this. Not quite sure if this is a very good idea, though, because a cooked nade from Nanny should be more than enough to remove Vortex off that particular place. But he's been shifting locations. At once, he's at one place, and the second, he's at the doorway of daycare doorway. So, shifting from place to place is going to, keep the player Vortex to be in a much more good state and force Team UWU to second guess exactly where his location is. So Vortex is currently playing that game as of now. Cafe push. Once again, we will see 3 players from Team UWU making their push, and looks like they're definitely going to give their all the way towards the hallway side. Vortex is still contesting, won't be able to get a kill, but Death Hammer finds one, especially with the MX4 Storm all the way from Arcade Stairs, will receive 1 kill. A second through the Pixel Peak. Can he get a third? No, will be denied immediately. An equalizer just flushes out from a 3v3, a 3v2 as Vortex finds to remove DZ out of that place, but still the control on the side is still at the hands of KIRA Esports, and look how they're playing to it accordingly. But Ragnarok equalized it once more by removing Vortex out of daycare, which means the whole side has been cleared out. They could just go in for a good plant, but who has the plant? Ragnarok has it, so all he has to do is just proceed with the plant all the way from daycare. Actually, no, I'm sorry, the side is on second for initiation Massage office, and here comes a kill, a third headshot to remove Ragnarok, and now it's all at the hands of Drish to succeed. This 1v2 will be denied. Srisha gets it, and just like that, KIRA Esports will secure round number 11. Gotta say, this hold that we see from KIRA Esports is so deadly that we will see them secure match point in round number 12.
Yeah, this time KIRA Esports, a lot more confident in the way they were holding, and also a bit on the side of Team UWU. I still don't know why so many of their players were pushing from cafe and trying to brute force their way through. There were 3 defenders holding that angle. Shrisha was watching from office. Amar was watching from arcade and arcade stairs, and Vortex was playing from within, daycare. 3 people watching cafe entrance, and the attackers were still like, no, we're going to push there. It's a death sentence. You don't do that. It's very dangerous, extremely. We saw the final result. Okay, towards the very end, the deviation Team UWU had of, going through break room and trying to brute force their way, or just enter from there, rappel in, do that, was good. But sadly, it's too late. I don't understand why Team UWU didn't just go down the direct route of dropping from cash, drop from security, breach in, plant the diffuser, plain and simple, get done with it. They wanted to go for kills, but KIRA's defense again was so strong. 3 people holding an angle. You cannot encounter that. You cannot fight that. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be the best aimer in the world. You'd still fail because of, again, just the sheer threshold KIRA had installed. So yeah, Team UWU, they need to scope out all of the logistics. They've got to make sure they see everywhere where all the defenders are, and then they choose their attacking plan. Even right now, this is match point. KIRA, for the first time, they have taken advantage. They can take the map win right here. UWU have got to be extremely careful. Dagger already, major chunk of his HP is removed. So you got to be careful with how you proceed forward. And for Team UWU, this can be disaster if they're not careful.
KIRA Esports, they are currently in match point. And although you could say that the pressure is building on towards Team UWU's and all of that practice that they've made on defense, the good strategy that that they use in the first half, turns out KIRA Esports, they're stealing the round away in the second half by just establishing crossfire angles. And it's been working out so well that it's usually either Srisha or Death Hammer who's been doing majority of the damage. And turns out Death Hammer, he wants to find out one more as he secures his first frag. There goes Dagger. Huge amount of chunks of information has been given around from the bulletproof cams. Give them vital information. 13 kills to Death Hammer, and now currently he's just going to play this passively. And this hold that you see from second floor bunk in daycare, although the site is in Armory and Throne Room, the way how the positionings that you see from Death Hammer is so crucial, but Thresh will just immediately neutralize him all the way from the server room. And now with the information being gained from the Yokai drones, look at the information that they have, but it will be denied immediately from Nani. A job well done to remove all of the information. And now Vortex, can he trick it? No, he cannot. Breach will be made. So does Srisha to secure one more as KIRA Esports are so close of securing map theme park. Flashbangs will be thrown away, but the information being gained is a lot, and especially still at the hands of KIRA Esports. Once again, shots being made from the MP5ST. Flashbangs gets caught out from the ADS. So does Vortex, who will secure one kill. Aggressive peek. Vortex gets one more, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we will see KIRA Esports securing map number 1 on theme park.
Really good fight from the side of KIRA again. Things were not off to the best of starts for their end, but still, that's not what matters. What matters is how they end it and what the final score is, and it favors, the side of KIRA. So, yeah, from the side of Team UWU as well, right? They chose this map, but yet again, it's that one round difference on the first half that got them. Because again, if we jog our memory back to when I said KIRA, if they get that 4-2 half, they'll be extremely ecstatic with their performance. If we imagine this to be a 5-1 half, we'd be in overtime currently. We'd be seeing, overtime take place, but rather we shall be reliving actually the entire matchup. As we have a look at the highlights, we start off from round number 1 itself. Team UWU were looking very, very strong, but KIRA were always catching up to them. And this was the main theme of the game, is that no matter how far Team UWU leapt, they always had KIRA running behind them, who caught up. Yes, KIRA never took the lead initially. It was 2-2, then a 4-4, then a 5-5. But as soon as KIRA got that lead on that 6-5, they make sure to not give it up, and they made sure to secure that map win.
Yeah, Team UWU, I still got to say, really great efforts. I mean, I wish we could have seen that in the first half of the group stage itself. But when you see a performance like this, UWU, they have such good potentials. But when it comes to making mistakes, like forcing themselves to go for frags instead of denial of the defuse, and we've seen a lot of situations where they lost a 2v4 situation mainly because of that. Mainly because of Shisha mainly winning most of his challenges, really did put Team UWU at a major disadvantage on certain amount of times. But all in all, I've got to say, UWU, they gave their best share of efforts on map theme park. Although there were some slight complications, they did end up securing most of the important kills, and they really did give a good fight towards KIRA Esports. This is a very close round, 7-5. This could have gone all the way to OT. It's not a 5-1 first half, folks. It was a 4-2, where both Team UWU and KIRA Esports can mainly change the game, even if they're on attack or on defense. It was equally balanced, and it always heavily relied on the opening picks, which would either be in favor for Death Amar or from Dresh, who'd usually we'd usually get to see KIRA Esports secure most of their rounds, mainly because of the impressive hold that they've made on second floor bunk and daycare, having two players, one holding from the arcade stairs, one holding from daycare. They did shut down the entire push which was happening all the way towards the cafe side, at least secure 1 or 2 kills, and then fall back to safety, knowing that they've already dealt major damage and they'll make even much more chaotic damage once they reached in towards the site. So the strategy that we've seen from KIRA Esports, although it involved a lot of risks, but when it comes to establishing crossfire angles, risks had to be taken in order for them to succeed most of the round.
Absolutely, and those risks, like you said, did pay off. Overall, now we can have a look at the numbers. We can see how the match went for these guys. And yeah, Death Amar and Drish, even Dagger to a certain extent, having such an explosive performance for these guys. I gotta say, it was really, really interesting seeing those kills one by one take place in the initial frags. I know I've talked a lot about them. That's only because they deserve getting talked about, just the way in which they were getting. And yeah, Team Uwu always being in front when it comes to the first kill. We can see every one of their players has had those initial kills. Drish with two, Dagger got 2 rounds, Ragnarok got one, Dizzy Nani on the same as well. Means that KIRA Esports, they were, I mean, again, KIRA also were contesting for that first round win. There were the initial 4 rounds where we had seen that the team who got the opening kill end up winning the round. But overall, it went more in the favor of Team Uwu. And again, this is the thing we have seen with both of these teams. For KIRA Esports, early round is their weakness, and then late round is when they're the strong. And it's just, the opposite for the side of Team Uwu. Team Uwu look very, very strong early on, but towards the late round, they start to make a couple of the mistakes and they start to lose out on some of the rounds, which again, is one of the major reasons why they lost out by such a close margin and why this could have very well been overtime.
Yeah, overtime could have had a possibility for Team Uwu, but in the end, it will be KIRA Esports who will secure the win nonetheless. Great bans, good map picks, great strategies being relayed from both the teams. But let's not forget, the match is not over just yet, folks. We still have a map
Yep.
number 2, and that map will be none other than map Clubhouse. Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah.
just trying to, look at the screen right now to see which would be the second map itself. And yeah, there you go. We'll be able to take a look at the map eater once again. Map number 1, Theme Park 7 to 5. We still have Clubhouse, a map being picked by KIRA Esports. So, although KIRA Esports have secured the first map, second map could still go in the favor for Team Uwu if they, make sure they won't make the same mistakes like they did on map Theme Park. But nonetheless, Clubhouse and Oregon will be a very balanced state for both the teams. And at this point, it's very hard to even predict exactly whether if KIRA Esports would have the advantage or Team Uwu. But since KIRA Esports are going on attack first, they've got to make sure that they secure a lot of rounds on attack in order for them to survive in second half.
Absolutely. Yeah. Survival is going to be key. And for the side of Team Ubu, yeah, once they're the ones on attack, we need to see how they perform. Because, like I said, this had happened yesterday as well, right? When they were facing off against the likes of Militant Esports, the defense of Team Uvu was really strong. They were looking quite confident. They were going for the kills, and it was a major wipeout. Even on a map like Clubhouse, these guys didn't even let Militant push into the building. And even before that, they absolutely decimated them. But once we went on to attack, yes, eventually Team Uwu managed to win, but they lost a couple of the rounds. They lost the 4 rounds. So having that in mind, Team Uwu definitely must have worked on their attack. Yesterday after their game, they must have looked at the wall, seen what went wrong, and hopefully we see a better version of that today compared when they are facing off against the likes of KIRA. Because yeah, for KIRA, it's a very strong map. KIRA themselves as well personally have had ups and downs. They've defeated the greats on the map of Clubhouse. They've had victories in different tournaments in the Pro Series, Community Cups, and all that, even in the past years against the likes of Hunters, MRCZ, and again other top tier teams. But there have also been times where KIRA have really struggled on Clubhouse. There have also been times where KIRA just don't get that. Just don't get that traction and just don't get a good start. So keeping that in mind, both of these teams need that really good start, but at the same time, Team Uwu definitely need to play it for a whole lot more. As for KIRA Esports, again, overall, now that we know they have won a map, they have indeed secured a point. I believe this was their qualification. KIRA Esports will be surmounting their name as a fourth team to qualify. Now, all that needs to be seen is that in which spot, the top 4 teams will be qualifying. Who will be first, second, third, and fourth? Because, of course, to all the people watching, that is really, really important for how the playoffs will be played. Again, if anyone is unaware, the first team, again, the team finishing first in the groups, will be facing off against the fourth team, and then second and third off against each other. And then we proceed with the double elimination. So if you're in third, you'll have a different opponent than if you're in fourth, which is why, yeah, a lot needs to be considered when you think about, now how will KIRA play exactly. But yeah, huge congratulations to them for securing qualifications as well. Woo!
Yay! So it's a good time to party for KIRA Esports, but their job's not done just yet because they still have to fight up against Team UWU, right? Map number 2, map number 3,
Exactly.
UWU. Although they did make their great performance, I'm pretty sure that when it comes to securing a lot of points, it will be a bit difficult for them, knowing that it will be on the below, knowing that they will currently be on seventh or eighth, seventh or sixth place, but talk about the playoffs itself, knowing that this is double LMs. No matter if they go, even if the teams go up against first to fourth place and second to third place, you still have a second chance, and that second chance is the lower brackets, and that second chance will determine the ones which have lost on towards the playoffs itself, to see whether which team will have a chance to head in towards the grand finals itself. And I've got to say, the playoffs itself is, I've got to say, it will be a very interesting one to look at, because that is also a best of 3 matchups. Grand finals is best of 5, which means that 2 teams will undergo a total of 5 maps. Hopefully, Cafe and Bang should also be there. Please don't let it be banned. I'm just praying to gods, hoping
Just
that there would be
Cafe.
Cafe and Bang. All right, it's Cafe and Bang. That's all I want in the
Yeah.
South Asian Nationals. All right, Cafe or Bang.
Yeah,
No
that's
clubhouse, no theme park. Just Cafe and Bang. Just Cafe and Bang. Just go for it.
The thing is, every single time I see the Wikipedia page of, the nationals we have to look at the previous match results and all, I scroll down to the graph of all the maps, and every single time it's just empty for Cafe, and like there is none, there is no column, and it's like
you can see a tumbleweed just
need
rolling
one.
around
But
the map.
still, yeah, enough about, Cafe Dostoevsky and Bank. Right now, it's still going to be a beloved map of South Asia that is going to be up on offer for everyone watching. We are now live with map number 2, Clubhouse. It is chosen by KIRA Esports team, who will start out on defense, and indeed they shall be the ones starting out with the operator ban phase as well. Any guesses you think of operators that will certainly be banned, Baba?
Well, when it comes to a bans in a map like Clubhouse, expect standard. All right, you know what? Never mind. I take it back. Osa will be banned on the side of Team UWU. What I expected was, I'd usually see a normal standard bans like a Thatcher, Hibana, Mira, and Valkyrie. Those are the most standard map bans that you could see on any map on Clubhouse, including on Oregon. But turns out they still want to go in for a same ban that they've just did on map Theme Park. Osa and Twitch once again will be banned. Osa, I can understand why. Bulletproof shield, very powerful on CCTV balcony. And since Osa has been removed out, KIRA Esports will go in for the same bans just like they did on Theme Park. Once again, Valkyrie ban, and I'm pretty sure the last ban has to be either Mira or an Azami. Now, that is the main question here. Mira or Azami, what will Team UWU go in for a decision here on Map Clubhouse? If you ban the Mira, Azami will be very powerful on Garage Catwalk. And if you ban Azami, never mind. You know what? I talked too much about these 2 operators. Turns out UWU decides to just ban Melusi instead. All right. Okay, UWU. I get it. You want to play both of them. Although I can understand it's a very great ban to ensure that there will be a lot of aggressive plays that could happen from the side of KIRA Esports, especially when the site is on second floor gym. But all in all, since KIRA Esports will be the one going on attack, we'll get to see them attack on basement chairs and Arsenal room.
Yeah.
Attackers need
So,
to locate
bans are
and
done,
defuse any
and
bombs
with the
if they
bomb
can.
site now selected, KIRA Esports know exactly what's got to happen from their side, in order to start with the execution team. UWU and their defense, I mean, they're going for an interesting approach. They're not going for, the usual suspects when you'd really consider like a proper composition. Like, you have some operators that are always seen on this Choshan Arsenal side. Legion is a really good pick, probably because, again, he has area deniability, most importantly impacts, Azami as well, the barriers alongside the impacts. But yeah, Alibi being chosen here is quite interesting. Unless Drish is looking for that roaming factor, not really sure why he'll pick the Alibi and bring, like impact nades. If he wants to roam, should have just brought the bulletproof shield, set it up inside to help one of the anchors. Because again, there is no true anchor. You can make the argument that Dagger is one of the anchors for the side of Team UWU. But yeah, no smoke, no echo, no maestro, no mute, which is what makes it interesting. Even no anti-breacher. So I guess Team UWU are really relying on the impact tricking side of things. But Kira may not focus on that. Kira may not be looking to open up the kitchen hatch. They may just want to enter from kitchen and blue and all that. And yeah, we can see it's a full-on anchor heavy play the defenders are playing for. All five of the defender, well, with the exception of one on second floor, four of them right here on basement means that Kira, they're going to have a difficult time attacking, and already Yadrish is making waves as that lonesome roamer.
Yeah, I mean, look at that protection though from the keeper barriers. Just making sure they have extra protection towards the dummy spot, but also you need to be careful from blue stairs. That's exactly where KIRA Esports are making that attempt on the push. Legion's location must have been compromised, so Atharvi finds the kill. Oh no, the timing! Oh no, that is definitely going to hurt. He had the chance to get a headshot, but instead Ragnarok gets away with the kill. Oh no, things are not looking too good from KIRA Esports' end as they lost both of the players, Shrisha and Atharv. And now Avidwi needs to go all the way while he was focusing an angle all the way from, main stairs. Now he needs to contain the situation being made all the way from stocks. Oh, information prone peak. Somehow Ragnarok gets away with his life and gets away with a kill. Double kill. There goes Avidwi. 2v5. Amar and Vortex are now like, all right, what's next? Well, that's what's next. That's the headshot from Death Armor all the way from blue. Succeeds in removing Ragnarok finally after making major damage towards the side of KIRA Esports. And now, knowing that they only have 1 minute left, they have no information on other players' whereabouts. And I've got to say for Vortex, he has no idea where the alibi is, and maybe his location will be giving away right now. Dresh finds one. Vortex is the last man standing, needs to find the rest of the players, and this will be a very difficult task for Vortex to succeed. Not a lot of time left. Has some decent utilities. Claymores could have been helped out to focus to remove some certain lines of sight, but all in all, it just comes back with some certain kills. Bailiff attempt from Dresh. Okay, a bit too much, but in the end, we will see Vortex secure the kill nonetheless. 1v3, 20 seconds left. I'm pretty sure the Team UWU will just focus on holding their angles instead of isolating this 1v1 gunfight. So yeah, there you go. Let's hold the angle. We will see Vortex securing the defuse, but all in all, time is what Team UWU will secure the win nonetheless. Drop down, kill being made from Nani, and UWU will secure round number 1 without facing any issues.
Yep, that's that. KIRA Esports in their attack just could never get a grasp on the defenders, one by one. They picked off these attackers, and that was it. KIRA just never could seem to get back into it. And yeah, that was the main problem, right? Ever since the get-go. I think that's exactly what we witnessed on their side, is that sadly, for KIRA Esports, the manpower just wasn't present to help them get that ball rolling, even if they wanted to execute. Because as soon as the initial kill happened, as soon as Shrisha went down, KIRA were like, okay, now do we focus on the Legion who's in second floor? Do we focus on the person who killed Shrisha? Or do we still continue with the execution? Some of the members were still like, okay, no, we keep on opening the breaches. We go down, like the main stairs. That's what Avidvi did as the Ash. Even that didn't work out. So yeah, there was a lot going on in the minds of KIRA. Sadly, they just couldn't be synchronized together, and they just couldn't focus on one stage. They wanted to complete all the checkpoints of a proper attack together. They wanted to breach at the same time, clear out the roamers at the same time, start the execution with the utility at the same time. Whereas you should take it again, one step at a time. You should first clear out the roamers, then the breach, then all that. But yeah, there was so much going on. Team UWU's defense was really looking very good. And if Team UWU can continue doing this, keep on confusing KIRA. What kind of play are they going for? Sell the idea that it's a complete anchor play. There's no one on second floor. There's no utility. There's no one on first floor. No utility there as well. Just focus on basement. And as KIRA do that, there's that one lurker who hasn't been droned out who gets that first kill. If something along the lines of that happens yet again, Team UWU will have really strong they will have really strong chances on their defense. But overall, Yeah, I am really excited for the next set of rounds as well, because Team Uwu, yet again, unlike Theme Park, these guys seem very very strong on Clubhouse. We have seen this against Phalanx, we have seen this against Militant. Kira, how well will they board off against these guys? That is the biggest question.
Yeah, on a map like Clubhouse, KIRA Esports, you could say that KIRA Esports, they've suffered a lot on attack itself, especially on Clubhouse. Defense, yes, they could get away with, Death Armor or maybe a Thar who initially gets the, first pick, and then just, make sure that to play to it accordingly. But KIRA Esports, they've always have their ups and downs, mainly when it comes to time. They always take way too much time on gathering information on roamers. Then when they realize that it's already on mid phase, they'll open up the hatch, and once they just wait to find the opening pick either being made from a third one Death Armor, if things go south, if they didn't get the early pick, then they are forced to push in a way that it's heavily disadvantageous, and it would usually give the advantage for the defenders nonetheless. So knowing that, in case KIRA Esports, they have to figure out a way that even though that crossfire angles are always the way to ensure victory, grenades could also help them to remove some of the certain places, and we do get to see KIRA Esports use them on certain sites. CCTV, maybe we get to see them on, get to use them on second floor gym, because mainly we see KIRA Esports get a lot of grenade kills in second floor site itself. Not a lot do we get to see grenade kills being made on basement church, and knowing that you have the Azami skewer barrier still in play, grenades will be even much more tougher on garage catwalk to secure a kill. So I've got to wonder for KIRA Esports, although that this is a map being picked by them, do you think that in the first half they're heavily relying on survival, so that in the second half, once they're on defense, they could just rack up a lot more wins and ensure that they could get the map on Clubhouse? What do you think about that, CCB? Do you think that is KIRA Esports' plan all along?
It's not particularly survival they're looking, I guess, just similar to Theme Park. They just want to salvage and get through the first half. Like, again, 2-4 would be fine and dandy for KIRA Esports. If they can get anything more than a 2-4, then it's really good. But a 2-4, again, on Clubhouse, it's that equilibrium that we always follow. It's only on Theme Park that we say a 5-1, because that map is a lot more skewed to the defenders. Like, whoa, okay, Nani. Yeah, I'm sure Thur will be saying that right now, because, like, what was that? You just swung by, got a kill, and that's your thermite gone. One of the hard breaches out of it. In the previous game, it was in the previous map, it was a Vidvi who didn't have the best of starts, who was the opening casualty a couple of times. This time it's Athar who has the same fate.
Yeah, now Shrisha is just going to make sure that he'll be able to get the control on construction as best as possible. Gadgets will be denied, and so does the Excalibur spell to open up lines of sight. But here comes the denial once again from the bandit charges. Cook grenade will be used, but will get caught out from the ADS, or maybe the cook grenade from below. No, neither. Both of them will catch out, and Ragnarok will get away with the kill while being traded out at the hands of Death Armor. 3v4. The construction wall isn't been opened just yet. We still have 12 Excaros pellets and an EMP to secure a wall breach in towards construction. Lines of sight will be made. Shouldn't have much of a problem. Much more indeed so, because you have Vortex and Death Armor securing 2 of the important kills to make Team UWU have a lot of problems on the site itself. Still have one smoke gas canister from DZ. Heavy push being relayed in towards construction. The main problem has to be garage catwalk. So a flashbang will be used to block that certain lines of sight. And turns out that's not working out well. 2v1. Team UWU, they're losing a lot of players. And just like a wall bang will secure a kill towards Vortex and give KIRA Esports the win itself. Equalizing it to a 1v1. And also we'll take a look at the instant replay of Nani's Toyota Drift. Now we'll get to see round number 3 with the site being on CCTV and cash room once again.
Yeah, it's a Toyota Drift, not a Ferrari Peak, because this one hits you like if a Toyota hit you. Not at the speed of a Ferrari, but hits you nonetheless. But yeah, because look, again, if someone did that to me, I'd be in the hospital like, there is physical damage, doctor. Check, like, what happened, because I'm pretty sure. But yeah, great kill overall. Sadly for Team UWU, KIRA Esports were relentless with their aggression. Even after that initial kill from Nani, it could not transcend beyond that. Even though the thermite was gone, KIRA Esports still managed to pick off the defenders one by one because they had so much time to work with, and because the fact that they were so close to the bomb site, already breached into construction. Shrisha as the Hibana was still able to, breach further. Even like I said, without the thermite being there, you had the secondary hard breacher that allowed that to happen. Meant that KIRA Esports had again solid chances. Man advantage not with them. They were like, okay, that's perfectly fine. We can still get back into the game. We can still make sure the round is ours. And yeah, out of the 2 rounds, I think out of the 2 rounds, I believe KIRA will be taking. They've already gotten one to their name, and it is on CCTV and cash. That's interesting. We haven't even seen Gym Bedroom as of now. Team UWU shall be going there, and one can only wonder what their plan is. I assume they'll be bringing the castle, and perhaps we can spot that castle Mira as well, because I feel like Mira is going to be that X factor. Due to the fact KIRA Esports have banned Twitch, getting rid of the Mira Black Mirrors is going to be a lot more difficult for these attackers, be it KIRA or in the second half once UWU go on their attack. So yeah, Mira will be very, very important on defense. But right now, Drish, oh, he's eliminated. Beautiful team play by the side of KIRA Esports. Make sure that the Deadly Doctor is off the board. No more stim pistols, no more heal for anyone.
And losing a control all the way from second floor construction is going to put KIRA Esports on a much more, easier way, knowing that one of the players has been eliminated. They just have to, be careful of the rumors as of now. Dagger is actually thinking of using the kunai barriers to block the walls connecting towards Garage Catwalk. But if by doing so, could also end up with him not being able to establish that angle by himself. So the construction breach will still happen nonetheless. Avid B dealt major damage all the way towards the lounge's side. Ragnarok is just dealing damage as best as possible to make sure none of the attackers would go ahead. He cooked nade, but turns out they lost the control on Garage Catwalk. Dagger's been downed out. Ragnarok might be able to get a kill from the sledge. He doesn't have any idea because currently he is using his attack drone to find information. And turns out Athar finds out yet another headshot. There goes Nani. Ragnarok tries to find the equalizer as he will remove the sledge. Only 1 minute left. Team UWU, despite losing control on Garage Catwalk, they need to go in for an aggressive attempt. And here comes DZ using the power of the suppressor to find one, but cannot get the second. And KIRA Esports, they have advantage in man count. It's 1v2. Athar gets one more headshot from all the way towards CCTV and gives the win for Team KIRA Esports 2-1. As a timeout will be requested from the side of Team UWU.
Yeah, their defense doesn't seem to be going their way. They have opted for cash and CCTV twice, and both the times, KIRA Esports, playing off of their hard breach and then further instilling their positioning to help with their execute eventually means that Team UWU are just forced into the bomb site. They're forced into this corner that they cannot escape out of. KIRA are very quick with their roam clear. And this is the problem with, going on cash and CCTV. Not many teams go for that horizontal extension in towards bedroom and all to delay the attackers. Because again, if we swap the objectives, if we reverse the roles, what do we see? Whenever a gym and bedroom push takes place, whenever a gym and bedroom site takes place, the attackers want to push from cache and CCTV, but there are reinforcements, there are mute jammers, there are, Legion goo mines and Jaeger ADSs and all that in cache room to prevent the attackers from very easily pushing in. No extension for cache and CCTV takes place, which means KIRA very quickly they can wrap out any of the defenders that are roaming. We saw that example. Drish was playing the dock. He was in bedroom. He was that roamer. He was all alone. Eliminated. No kill for Drish, no opportunity for him to get the kill. He was droned out. There was someone on the bedroom window, and then someone swung by from the top of stairs as well, thus completely rendering him useless. So, meant that now that your dock is gone, everyone else needs to fall back. And for the side of Team UWU, everyone, when they fell back, that they just weren't able to push in and essentially get any ground for themselves. and be able to structure themselves in such a way that they can fight off against the aggression of KIRA, because they were pushing in from every single angle. The attackers wanted to push from the main CCTV breach. They were in construction. All of that took place, which ultimately led to, KIRA getting the round.
Yeah, it really did heavily relied on getting the early pick itself, right? And once Kira, with the help of the attack drones, once they knew exactly where Doc's location was, he was caught out no matter what the situation is, because there's one from the hatch, one who is currently in a breach on second floor jacuzzi. You even have one of the players in the side of window. How can you escape? How? Just it is such an impossible task for a dog who is, let's not forget, a 3 armor and a 1 speed. So if he tries to sprint away towards construction, the amount of window of opportunity that the attackers have to remove the dog is, man, it's a very difficult one to do so. But all in all, what's done is done. Hopefully, with the timeout being used from the side of Team UWU, they'll go in on a different approach this time. And I kind of like the way how both the teams are using Oryx. Because one, granted, he's a very amazing operator when it comes to getting those initial frags. Okay. Once we see the action phase, I just realized that Amr secures a kill off from Drish. Interesting. Okay. Well, the planning that I was trying to say about Ragnarok, having the T5 SMG, 1.5x scope, good versatility when it comes to playing the roam game itself, because you can parkour from the hatch instead of going towards the stairs, which is in fact a good way for the Oryx to be a versatile operator when it comes to catching operators off guard. So having that specific roamer, you could say that Team UWU could heavily rely on that one specific operator, but turns out Ragnarok is all the way towards basement church, mainly because Thresh is gone at the early round itself. So the roam game, forget about it. KIRA Esports, they took control of it. Now all they've got to do is just open up the important hatches, and that's all they've got to do. Push in towards the side and ensure victory.
Yeah, yet again, that's exactly what KIRA are looking for, is that to further push in, and with everything done, now that's it, right? It's time for that to execute. They just want the breakthrough. They just want that one kill that can start the domino effect, where every single defender will be outed. But this time, no, it's Ragnarok who gets one, but it's a trade. It's a trade by the attackers. They still ensure that, they don't completely give out the man advantage, and they don't let it be equalized from the side of Team UWU. But Team UWU are also holding their ground. The impact tracking seems to be working, seems to be holding off the attackers. Now, sadly, breach is open. That's the hatch done. Dagger's position known, and because of the drone, he was distracted by it. He's hunted down. Minute on the clock. Team UWU outnumbered 1-2. Every single player needs to kill 2 of the opposition. DZ is holding a very unorthodox yet open angle. I think he has just been spotted, but it's going to be Dagger and the utility. The Thorns that get a kill. So now it's down to Nani to hold the ground, and KIRA Esports, yet again, they're individualizing the gunfights. Now they focus on the diffuser to be planted. There's no way Dizzy can prevent it from happening, and Avidvi, after planting the diffuser, secures the second kill. Whew. It again got a little dicey for KIRA towards the very end. They didn't have proper information as to where the defenders were, but as soon as both of them were spotted towards the end of armory and towards that blue room, they were like, we're going to plant deep armory, we're going to hold the hatch, hold the angle, wait for the defenders, and then kill them and take round 3. So yeah, really good attacking half from KIRA so far.
Yeah, but even with the major disadvantage from the Razor Plume effect, KIRA Esports will secure the round on defense. And turns out, UWU, they still want to make an attempt once again in the side. So round number 5, KIRA Esports have secured 3 rounds on attack. UWU, I just gotta keep saying this, they should be very careful, because they're getting picked out very early from Death Armor. Once, it was from the dock. Second, it was from Dresh, who was currently playing as the Amaru, right? So the first main thing that I have to say from UWU is don't get picked out. That's all. Because that second floor side, it was heavily relied on Ragnarok's plays when when he's playing as the Oryx, right? He was very influential, knowing that you could play alongside on first floor and second floor. You could just use the hatch to climb all the way upstairs, and since you have the bailiff shotgun, you can just remove the hatch, go in for a surprise attack. But it could have worked out well if the Amaru was present as well. And because of the attempted spawn, it did ended up being in favor for KIRA Esports. Uwu, aka Ragnarok, was forced to go all the way from the basement to make his final hold, in which KIRA Esports had entire control on first and second floor just by removing one player. That's all they had to do, was just remove one player out of the place and force Ragnarok to fall back all the way from the basement. That's definitely gonna hurt for them. So round number 5, this time we don't get to see any early peaks being made from the side of KIRA Esports. So Team UWU are currently in the clear. All 4 players are in Basement Church side. Mozzie, interestingly enough, is in Basement Church. The whole first floor has been caught up at the hands of KIRA Esports, which means they won't be having any problems in opening up the hatches connecting towards Moto. Now, all they've got to do is just make sure that they heavily rely on impacts, C4s, and crossfire angles all the way from Blue, Basement, Church, and respectively. And turns out it is working out well for them. Ragnarok starts off with a bang as he secures the first kill, removing Vortex, and also the diffuser having information in the hands of the defenders.
Yeah, oh, another kill for Nani. Athar went to the drop down from the hatch. Supposed to be a little too risky for the side of KIRA Esports. They're losing many of their members. Yes, they have man advantage, but that in of itself is not enough to grant them the entire round. They've got to be careful with the final members present. Every single hatch looking to be open. Lines of sight established. And like I said, map control already there, but still it is not enough. KIRA needs some kills, or they need a really solid avenue for execution, because dropping from hatches is certain death, especially when there are 5 defenders on play. Make that 4.5 defenders. Dizzy still putting that down but not outstayed behind the barrier. I don't think it'll be able to go for a revive. But again, I don't think it's going to be a confirmed kill just yet, unless Shrisha wants to drop down. There is that one frag grenade Deathhammer has if they want to spend it to get the confirmed kill. But still, on towards the main entrance, and attacker has pushed into deep armory. Wait, KIRA going for a plant. Oh, that's very interesting. However, no. Deathhammer wanted to plant the diffuser. It shall not happen. Shrisha now is the only person alive, and Team UWU will be securing the round in the flawless manner. Really solid defense from their end.
Yeah, very solid defense. All 5 players were in the site itself. They just gave the entire control of first and second floor for KIRA Esports. But this time, they had the advantage when it comes to the opening pick. And it was Ragnarok getting the first pick all the way from main stairs, where he had established that vertical line of sight. And the second, by removing, and that too, removing Vortex was a very important pick. And since the EMP wasn't present to disable the important ADSs, that kunai barriers that you saw from Basement Church was so effective that it was very difficult for Shrisha to get a kill. But somehow he assured a down from DZ, despite having a slight pixel angle that had been created from the side of Team UWU. So although it was just one player who had been downed, the rest of the players, they were still present. The C4, although it didn't get a kill, it did end up with Ragnarok securing a lot of kills. And just like that, we'll be able to see him gain a total of 9 kills playing as the roamer Mozzie. We did get to see him play as the Oryx, but now he's bringing the Mira this time. He's going to play in much more of an anchored hold all the way from logistics, and maybe the second Mira mirror might be in use all the way from second floor gym. So yeah, this side, second floor gym, will be a bit difficult for KIRA Esports unless and until if they get control on logistics as fast as possible. Make sure that they have good amount of information, checking corners, making sure that every single hold has been taken care of, and then head in for the usual push itself. Exotomic charge will be used to blow up the wall in towards construction, mainly because they don't have to worry about the bandit charges or Kaid's electroclaws, but they still need to be careful on the push, and also the Goya's Vulcan shield, which could be denied for more than 15 seconds, for more than 20 seconds. So you've got to be careful for that. But the initial frag will come in. Vortex starts it off. Drish goes down, and just like that, KIRA Esports will start it off with a bang.
Kill Shisha. Oh, he tags Nani slightly, but it's going to be a third. Who does land the headshot? And yeah, yet again for Team UWU. Wait, oh, that's a slow reaction time.
Okay.
But no, the point I was saying was, yeah, for the side of Team UWU, they are getting backed off into the corner yet again. Whenever they tried contesting these angles, guess what happened? Lost their life, plain and simple. Couldn't move on forward. Ragnarok finally manages to get the headshot. It has costed him a significant portion of his HP, but still, a kill is a kill. He must move on nonetheless. And Ragnarok finds one more. The heal did work out towards the very end. It's now all down to Dagger. B90 in hand, down, and this time completely eliminated. So, one more round for KIRA Esports. And yeah, these guys are looking really solid on their defense. Oh, sorry, on their attack, one must say. That now for the side of Team UWU, now the side swap has happened, and KIRA Esports have the advantage. Dealing with a 2-round deficit is going to be very, very difficult for them.
Yeah, it will be, especially with KIRA Esports being on defense. It will be much tougher for Team UWU to secure most of the round. But maybe with a slight glimmering of hope, we might be able to see Team UWU secure this round. And the interesting part about it is that they still have the Azami's keeper barriers. Very efficient on garage control. And also they'll be heavily relied on denial of utilities as well. So slightly. You know, you have the bandits, you still have the bandit charges. So they could use it to, remove one of the exotomic charges. So that should be their main goal. But since UWU has got it covered, they don't have to worry about it. They've got to make sure that the bandit will be flushed out from that position, either by forcing him to focus on construction, or have a double hard breacher. Maybe having both Thermite and Hibana could help them in having a lot of distractions being made from Vortex. But currently he's all the way towards the main stairs, in which he'll arrive right now. CCTV is currently uncontested, so the attackers could just spawn in towards the warehouse side and just open up very quickly. They could do that, but turns out the Team UWU, where are they currently now? Are they in a very difficult position, a very different position? No, they aren't. CCTV has already been breached. Vortex's use of the charges won't be in effect as of now. It will be very effective if they're pushing towards construction. Oh boy! Oh, okay. I just panicked myself again. I just panicked myself again. Apologies. First frag, DZ goes down. Breach already been done. Vortex decides to go for a quick run out all the way from the balcony side. But yeah, Atharv, what did you just have for today, man? Because that shot was okay, very good, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, all of us watching, we can see the outlines, but of course, the players cannot. How exactly did he see where Dizzy was? Okay, just, a third of things, I guess. But yeah, this is the Jaeger buff that happens. As soon as someone goes on the Jaeger, bam, expect more stuff to happen. Vortex narrowly misses death, but it's going to be death for Dagger and Ragnarok soon to follow. The attackers are crumbling. They just wanted to push into the side, but the defenders have denied them this opportunity. Not only that, the defenders extend forward out of the building and kill even further. That is KIRA Esports right there. Really, really confident with how they wanted to move forward. And that is KIRA Esports, again, sparing no lives whatsoever with that hyper-aggressive play, thus leading to another round win. They're only extending the lead further and further.
Yes, indeed, CCV. 2 more wins for KIRA Esports, and I've got to say, the advantage that they have right now, it's too much for Team UWU to handle right now. And Vortex decides to bring in the Vigil. Not a lot do we get to see a Vigil being played on majority of the maps. Sure, you usually see it in Clubhouse, but yeah, I've got to say, man, that shot from Athar, Jesus, man. How just. He's in Garage Catwalk. He's playing as the Jaeger. And somehow he gets away with the kill while the guy was being repelled. Only his head popped out, right? Only his head popped out. And Athar just said, "Oh yeah, I can see you." Boom. Bye bye. Khatam. It's just done. You know, it's.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
Oh boy. Anyways, round number 8 is the site being on basement chest and arsenal room. I've got to say, no one is currently holding on the site. All 5 players from KIRA Esports are in second floor or maybe playing in towards the main stairs. And it's very interesting to see how KIRA Esports are actually playing towards this. Not a single person is in the site. They could just go in for a full-on tunnel push. And they could have the entire control in Arsenal room. But somehow they're losing bodies once again. It's a turf. Once again, headshot. There goes Dresh. KIRA Esports, they just went all the way to the aggressive.
Wait, what?
Man, Athar,
No.
did you just have broccoli today, man? Because you are on fire right now, man. Second kill, a win with the sprints
What
away.
is
Confirmation
happening?
on the kill. What is happening? KIRA Esports. My God.
No, they are re-peaking angles and winning the gunfights. That should not ever happen. Not even in like esports matches in any competitive game of Rainbow Six. If you re-peak that angle, you should again. Wait, where is he? What? Vortex? He's out. Oh, he's just strolling around. He's just strolling around. That's it. No,
Yeah, it's
at
just,
this
it's just a
point,
walk in the park, yeah.
What is happening? And also, Baba, broccoli for lunch. How is that representative of he's on fire? I get broccoli is delicious, but that's.
I mean, it
it's,
isn't, but it gives good protein.
Fair. The muscles are definitely there, but like for Kira, these guys are just—they don't care anymore. They just run out, kill. That's it. What?
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Oh, man. At first, I was like, wait a minute, why is KIRA Esports not on the site? Only to realize they just went
Yes.
full on aggro. Athar was there. So did the SMG wielder. The mute, a Widwi.
Yeah, a bit. Yep.
And Vortex to final it out with the Vigil. Yeah, especially when I see a round like that, Team UWU. Oh man, that is not good. Not one bit.
5 seconds.
The bright side, you could say that Ragnarok has made an exceptional performance on defense, though. 11 kills from that man, and Atharv is also having a total of 10 kills. Vortex, on the other hand, will be bringing in the dock. I believe he's going to juice himself back up to full HP, or maybe tries to provide healings towards Atharv. Yeah, there you go. Healings will be given. Second stim pistol being used from Atharv. My God, are you kidding me? Are they just using the Vortex Atharv combo, but they themselves get themselves caught out, but a huge refrag will be made nonetheless. Atharv still wants to go aggro, not quite sure if it's a
Oh,
good
thank
idea
God
because
they're
you're
punished.
widely out in the open. And finally,
Yeah.
KIRA Esports, they just got punished.
No,
Although
they-
that
they-
aggressive
they were
attempt,
going a little overboard.
it had to happen, all right? It had to happen, all right? This was too much. Doc's stim pistol,
Yes.
followed up with Atharv's run out, and that to doing it twice.
Again, you can't re-peak the same angle. You can't peak it completely. Yeah, no, this is really deserved on the side of, Kira really getting overly aggressive. Get it? It works out for 2 rounds, but you can't keep on doing this every single time. Team UWU finally have found a way to, counter it, wait for Kira to do all of this, and then just, be relentless with the pressure. But yeah, Kira's still on match point. Yet again, we know a weakness of Kira has been their ability to not be able to always close out the maps. Is that going to be a prevalent factor here? I don't think so just yet. I think Kira, for all the extra stuff they have done for the past couple of rounds, now they'll finally get back into, performing regularly and just making sure that, we don't go overboard. We don't do extra stuff. We just play simple Siege. And yeah, because of that, I think they'll be able to relatively take the win. If not this one, the next round, certainly. But yeah, KIRA Esports were having a little too much fun, and Team Uwu very deservedly so, punished them for
10
it later
seconds to
on.
go.
Yeah, this time we won't be able to see Team KIRA Esports do the same aggressive attempt once again. And I'm pretty sure that they've learned their lesson now.
Bomb and defuse it.
Having a combo like the Doc, like the Atharv, to provide much more initial frags from Atharv. Although it did helped out in the previous round, but I'm pretty much sure that they won't do that attempt once again. Because Team Uwu, they have a chance to secure overtime if KIRA Esports let them make certain stuff like this, right? Breaches will be heavily focused from Team Uwu's end. The exothermic charge will help them to blow up the wall from CCTV. Informations will be given from the alibis prismas, hopefully to find information on too. But Shrisha, on the other hand, all the way from Blue Window, not quite sure if it's a good idea to head on for a run out to remove Ragnarok, because there's a Claymore being placed from that specific place. So he's got to be careful. And I believe currently Team Uwu are waiting for that perfect timing. So they're just waiting for an explosive breach, maybe from the window side of CCTV, and I believe that would be at the hands of DZ. So they'll just make do with the EMP blast. Breach will be done. And in a minute and 50 seconds, they succeeded in opening up the entire wall in towards CCTV. Now, the main thing that they have to be careful about is Atharv, because his shots has been so pristine all the way towards CCTV balcony, and he really needs to be careful. Aggressive attempts once again as Avidvi secures one, but a huge refrag will be made nonetheless. Quick trades being made from both the sides, 4v4, Vortex. Whatever you're thinking right now, this might not be a good idea to be going on a very aggressive attempt, but Shrisha will get the kill nonetheless. Secures a kill on towards Dagger. Deathhammer gets 1-2. Headshot. DZ secures one more kill all the way from Garage Catwalk, but instead, it's still an equalizer. Team Uwu can still bring this back. Oh boy! It can. It's a higher possibility that it can happen. 1v2. It's now with the hands of Deathhammer to secure this clutch, to put KIRA Esports to secure map number 2 Clubhouse, and this is in itself a very difficult task. DZ is so low on HP, and all Drish needs to do is just remove Death Armor from the site, and this huge flank being made from DZ can be able to secure the win. Heads being popped out all the way from the side. Information being given from the Thunderbird. Oh no, he still gets the kill. 1v1. The second denial. Death Armor finally secures it. Oh boy. Oh my. What is happening? KIRA Esports, what once I thought was a chance for Team Uwu to secure the round, there's even a Thunderbird that gave away the positioning from DZ. Oh, that must have hurt. Oh man. What a finale round. I'm not gonna lie. From the side of Team KIRA Esports, 7-3. And yeah, what a way to end the match off here, folks, on a best of 3. What a match.
Yeah, that was the final round from the side of Team Uwu. We saw and we will be seeing in the South Asian Nationals. As explosive of a start they had, as explosive of an end it shall be for them. Unfortunately, they will not be able to, qualify for the playoffs. However, they will be securing, I think, 6th position overall in the standings. So yeah, really good stuff from their end. But today could have been today definitely could have been better, especially on Theme Park. I think on Clubhouse, yeah, they just lost the plot to a certain extent, and KIRA were more like, yeah, KIRA were just running away with it. God knows what was happening for the past couple of rounds with KIRA, just completely running the ship and completely running aboard with their play and their runouts and their peaks and their spawn peaks and whatnot. But yeah, chances were present from Team Uwu. Sadly, couldn't capitalize always off of it. But nevertheless, really good team. I had said this yesterday with Aggressive as well when Team Uwu were absolutely demolishing the likes of Militant on Clubhouse. Is that Team Uwu, if these guys stick together, if now in the off season they play together, go for the scrims, go for the dry runs, and make sure every single map of theirs is pretty strong, improve themselves overall individually and as a roster, and then start the 2023 competitive year, yet again they'll be much better contenders for the South Asian Nationals next time and the entire roadmap of the year that is present. So keeping that in mind, Team Uwu definitely, they have got the potential in them to really be one of the greats. They just need to make sure it's a lot more consistent, and they need to, find out a lot of the mistakes that have happened over the course of the season.
Yeah, well said, CCB. And for Team Uvu, they definitely receive the praise. Although in the entire journey that they've had in the South Asian Nationals, despite them having a lot of ups and downs, they did shown their impactful performances in these last three matchups, especially when they went up against Phalanx. Now, going up against KIRA Esports, the strategies that they've involved in Theme Park was so well done. I really can't wait for them to see perform even much more in the next upcoming matches, maybe in the future itself. But for now, Team Uvu, unfortunately, this would be their final matchup for today. Unfortunately, the only thing that they can secure right now is a total of 6 points. Whereas for KIRA Esports, they'll be very much happy knowing that they've secured fourth place by securing a total of 10 points. 10 points, as in they will be secure, they'll be in second place, while as Shaheens being the one on first place. And that can come to a major change once we have our next matchup, which will be Team Monkey Hunters versus Shaheens.
Next matchup is definitely going to be a very, very fiery and feisty one. We will, I should say everyone should be looking out for that one. The repeat of the grand finals we had of the fall edition of the Pro Series. But right now, let's come back to the match we just witnessed, the match that got over right in front of our very eyes. KIRA Esports this time a lot more confident with their team performance as well. You can see everyone pitched in. Atharv, 11 kills for him, Deathamar, 9, Avidvi, 7, Vortex, 7, even Shrisham being majorly on the supportive role as that Hibana still pitched a bit in. And even about the cost, really, really consistent on their end, 60 to 70% for most of the players. Their ratings are in the positive. As for Team Uvu, sadly, overall, their team just wanted a kickstart, and they just couldn't compete against the likes of KIRA. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, as we take a look at the match summary itself, 60%, and interestingly enough, all four players from the side of KIRA Esports have secured 70% cost, with the initial frags being made from Atharv and Deathamar, who's been usually on point when it comes to making peaks like that. Aggressive peaks were made a lot on the defensive side. It's kind of like they were just trying to have fun, but in the end, they decided, you know what? Let's not just prance around. Let's just respect our opposition team and make sure not to make the same mistake once again. And Team Uvu, a very impactful performance being made on map Theme Park, but unfortunately, it started to go a bit stale on Clubhouse itself. 4-2 was the score line, with the KIRA Esports still being the lead on attack. Once they realized they had, good firm control grip on defense, there's not a lot that Team Uvu could have done in that certain instances, but in the end, we did get to see some amazing performance being made from Ragnarok. 12 kills, 80% cost. And I've got to say, for Team Uvu, a very great performance to see them, especially in the final matchup.
Yeah, really good improvement from the side of Team Uvu as well. Means that we shall be seeing them later, and hopefully we see the more of this same roster, not with many changes, and we see these guys stick together and get even better than they have. Because again, making it to the nationals is a big stage. Cementing yourself to be in the top 8 amongst everyone that has been participating and playing in the open qualifiers, in the Pro Series and all that, it takes a lot. Team Uvu still did it, and they absolutely deserve to be here. But again, they know for a fact, and we all know for a fact, they can do a whole lot better. So, which is why, we can only hope the best for them. We can only hope that they indeed do get better. But yeah, Team Uvu will be the first team to complete their journey in the group stages. And again, we already know their result. No qualification for them, but 6th place it shall be. As for KIRA Esports, I believe KIRA have yet another matchup remaining. This was their 5th game. So, sorry, this was their 6th game. They've played 5 before this. So they may have one more BO3, which will also be interesting to see where finally they'll be placed overall. But yeah, the 4 teams we have right now, KIRA, MercenarieZ, Hunters, and then Shaheens, all of these teams in the qualifications are very, very much fighting for the top spots. But right now, here is one player who is definitely on the top spot and in the spotlight. It is going to be Deathamar, the IGL for KIRA Esports, and star performer today.
Yep, initial frags has been through the roof while he's been playing both on attack as well as on defense. On both the maps, we've seen him perform exceptionally well. 22 kills, 77% cost, and a 1.26 rating scores for Death Armor. He's been making a lot of impactful plays, especially on the early rounds, putting themselves on a major advantage on map clubhouse itself, especially when you saw, Team UWU losing their initial players at the early round itself. The main reason who was it was Death Armor. So 1 kills per round. Even while playing as a defender, Alibi, you see him made some impactful performance, especially that 1v2 clutch we saw him made on Clubhouse. We even saw him, made some impactful performance on Theme Park as well. So yeah, it's a job well done for Death Armor to make sure that even if they have a difficult situation, they'd always come back. Make sure to balance it out. Make sure that make sure that for the side of Team KIRA Esports that they have a chance to win. But let's not forget about the rest of the 4 players: Atharv, Shrisha, Avidvi, and Vortex. When it comes to supporting the team, Shrisha has done a really great job when it comes to opening up proper lines of sight with the help of the hard breaches and making sure to get those important kills and give a chance for either a Thurf or a Widwi to secure those important frags. And let's not forget about Vortex 2 playing as the Jaeger, mainly used for ADS placements, but in the end he still would end up getting those important kills, which is heavily relied for them to secure a win for the side of KIRA Esports. So we'll take one last look at the map vetoes itself. We had 3 maps: Theme Park, Clubhouse, and Oregon. Unfortunately, we won't be able to see map Oregon because KIRA Esports has secured 2 maps: 7-5 on Theme Park, 7-3 on map Clubhouse. And that would be the end of Team UWU's journey. But it's not the end just yet for Team KIRA Esports, because they have one final match, and that match will be at day 14, I believe. Well, they will go up against Team Hunters LFO, which will happen on 31st October. So that final match, KIRA Esports has a chance to secure at least 2 more points, which would put themselves on 12 points in total if they win against Hunters LFO. But for Hunters, they have they still have 3 more matches left, right? So for Hunters LFO, it's a very difficult task for KIRA.
Yeah, very difficult task indeed. But now, having a look at the group standings, yes, KIRA indeed do have that matchup. Shaheens have 2 more games today. One of their matches is going to be, right now, very, very soon, up against Hunters LFO. Hunters still have 3 more best of threes to play. So yeah, definitely Hunters in that contention for that first place. Really, the winners of today will be quite important to see, and will be looking to take that first spot. And of course, yeah, we've got our 4 teams. It's all about where they place themselves and how exactly they'll be looking to move on forward. Right now, with how it stands, the winners of Hunters against Shaheens, in my opinion, will be on first place. The loser of Hunters versus Shaheens will be on second. KIRA on third, and MRCZ on fourth. This is what I think. But again, I could very well be wrong. We never know and exactly how things are going to be proceeding. We never know how the matches are going to be. But so far, it has really been, a very entertaining day, shall we say. Theme Park was a very close fight. Clubhouse was, how do I say this? It was a map. Yeah, we saw KIRA Esports do a lot of unique things. Yep, unique things. And we saw the side of Team UWU face off against those unique things. But next matchup is going to be a lot more, fearsome for both of these rosters. It's going to be Hunters LFO up against Shaheens. Like I've said, everyone, it's going to be the rematch from the grand finals of the Pro Series that we had, the Fall Edition. Once more in the group stages, these teams, they will be fighting for a lot. You surely don't want to miss that out. So make sure you stick around to the stream. Keep watching. We'll be taking a break here. We'll be readying everything up. We'll be making sure everything is set on time. The players will be joining in. But till then, you can go down in the description, check out some GPUs from our sponsors. Check out Rainbow-Six-Siege as well at a highly discounted price. Make sure you have the entertainment, and make sure you're subscribed to the esports club as well, so you do not miss out for that next matchup. But till then, we shall be back.
Bye.